should I say, segment things and timing just to arrange things for everything to be done in order, which I'm not against, of course. But I want you to still understand that it's still you.
Yeah.
And so, therefore, the people are going to be making New Year resolutions, New Year resolutions. No, you got to understand that it's not about New Year resolution. It's my resolution. It's your life resolution. So it's not just about the new year. It's about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because still the same you that was last year, still the same you. So if the character you have last year is not going to change, because it's a new year, it won't change it. The new year does not have the power to change, except you change. You know, Pythagoras said something. Man is a measure of the things that they are, that they are, and of the things that they are not. So therefore, you are a custodian and the principal defining being about whatever is going to happen for you this year. So it's not about 2021. It's just a figure. What matters most is you. Man is the designing being. You're the one defining everything. So welcome to 2021. And God Almighty is going to make it very great. Now, we're talking about something very important. And we'll talk about strategic planning. This January, we've been dealing on a series on strategic planning. So, and those of you that are joining us for the first time, my name is The Great Sam. I'm a peak performance life coach. And on this wonderful program, The Great Sam Life Class, you can as well join me quickly and follow me up on Twitter. That is The Great Sam LC. The Great Sam LC, or on Instagram, The Great Sam Life Class, and so that you can actually drop your comment and follow us as we make progress. Now, talking about strategic planning, and it's a new year. Everybody's going to be writing a lot of plans, you know. So another person made a funny joke and said, "There's no point writing new plan for the year. Just edit the last year and change the figure from 0 to 1. 2020, make it 2021. Same thing." But I don't believe that, because a lot of things are going to be changing, you know. Things are going to be changing. So you should ask yourself, what's my plan so far?
Okay.
What am I doing? So strategic plan is what we're talking about today. But our focus, this is the series for this January, but our focus today is going to be dreaming big.
Wow.
Dreaming big. But before we go about dreaming big, we must go through a process I might call catharsis, purging. Because if you carry the same mentality of last year or the previous year to this year, you're still going to get the same result. It says it's a foolish act to still do the same thing and expect different results. It's a completely foolish act to do the same thing and expect different results. So you want different results, do different things. So look at your life very well now. Take a proper stock of your life so far. 2020, how did it go? What did you achieve? What was your financial record? Your relationship life and your marital status and your things and your relationship with your spouse and your children. How was it like? How was your career? Did it move on? Did you see? 2020 actually gave us an opportunity for people to sit up and prepare and know that, I need to actually look at a value within me, something I could bring forward, because anything could happen and they say everybody no work and no pay. Things can just happen, and so you got to look into yourself and say, what can I really do to make sure that my financially I'm not going to be troubled, relationship wise I'm not going to be troubled, and every other aspect of my life I'm not going to be troubled. Now let's talk about dreaming big. What's your dream? And what is a dream? A dream is not what you just sleep at night and just wake. That's one part of the dream. I can say dream goes in two ways. The dream is that thing that happens to you when you are on subconscious state when you sleep.
Okay.
The imaginative picture of yourself when you're sleeping. That is, one thing about dream. You see yourself. You just when someone is narrating his dream, he's going to tell you, I was in the dream. I saw myself walking. So you should ask yourself, who was seeing who? That I saw myself working. So that means when you are dreaming, and I think in literature, that's what they call the omniscient point of view. That means you are a writer and is writing from the God perspective, more like a reported view of someone that omnipresent being, all-knowing being that already knows everything. So you understand that in the dream, when you are dreaming, you see yourself running. And sometimes you want to run faster than that. You want to run faster, but the person there is independent of your will. It's independent of your will. I want to actually borrow from that context of understanding dream in that aspect.
Okay.
Dream is something that happens in our subconscious state. But the question is this now. We are not talking about dream that is happening in your conscious state. That's what we're talking about today, dreaming big. Dream big. Dream big. Now you're dreaming, but you are not sleeping. You are awake. So what's this dream? This dream we're talking about are goals, aspirations, things you want to achieve, target, things you want to become, things you want to get. These are your dreams. We're talking about something that's happening to you in your conscious state. But we are talking about dreaming big, because the capacity to dream big is not given to all. Everybody can't do that. Some persons don't dream big because there's this fear. The fear, I'm going to debunk some funny myth people have. For example, they tell you, when you dream too big, you will not get it to. Certain things will come and rub it off. So it's better to just dream small. Then God can help you to increase it. In other words, there is this religious or fearful humility not to think big. For example, you can't even want to dream about, this year I'm going to get myself a Ferrari. I'm going to get myself a Lamborghini. I'm going to build my own house. I'm going to buy a duplex. I'm looking at my financial record to hit about 100 million naira this year. They'll be like, No. You have to be moderate with things. You speak possibilities and the rest of them. The fact is that everything is possible. And that's why the word impossible, if you look at that word, I'll tell you a short story. Two friends, all in the same school. One was smarter than the other person. And then Mr. A was smarter than Mr. B. One day, the teacher just finished teaching them about the use of apostrophe as a way of words that you omit, words that your letters you take off from a word. You use apostrophe to show that something is missing. For example, that means W is gone. I will. You understand, that kind of a thing. So, and the boy was just happy about the teaching, both of them. So one day, the teacher just wiped the board and now wrote impossible and asked somebody to pronounce the word. Mr. B was so excited, thinking that maybe the teacher missed the word and said, impossible. And the whole class started laughing at him. And then this other one rose his hand up and says, impossible. I said, yes, clap for Mr. A. They clapped. Oh, he felt good. He was intelligent, of course, a smart kid. Years after, Mr. B was invited, Mr. A was invited, but the school honored Mr. B because, my goodness, Mr. B was a great success, an influential young man, rich and powerful, full, and an employer of labor, so good and so mighty, very influential. And then when we interviewed him, and they asked him, what's the secret of your success? How is it that you became so successful? This is he say, when they told them, when I was in school, in this same school some years ago, I misspelled a word, but I believe what I misspelled.
Wow.
The other guy said, what's the word? He said, impossible. That one just shouted in the audience and said, I was there, you failed it. Of course I failed it. I was the one who got it correct. He said, yes. But that's the difference. You got it correct, but you believed it, what you got. But I got it wrong, but I believe what I got.
Wow.
So you got it impossible, you believe impossible. But I saw it as I'm possible. So that means possibilities about me, not about the situation.
Wow.
The situations are not what determines, they don't have the mouth to talk. I am the one to decide. So now, the ability to dream big, sometimes we cage ourselves by this religious view, a little bit view about saying that don't say something too big. And again, some of the myth is that when you dream big, some forces, something from the village, all this kind of a thing can start fighting you. It's better you don't even think about it, let it happen, don't even talk about it. But the question is this now, you can't dream big without discussing it. I will tell somebody that one. You can't talk about dreaming big and you don't want to talk about it.
Discussing it with who?
With the right persons, of course. Okay. And let me tell you something. You can't really tell who's the right persons in the real sense of life. Because for a thing to come through, you need a challenge. You need a push. And guess what? And sometimes one of the biggest push we get, sometimes we say constructive criticism. Yeah. But I've realized that one of the biggest push every successful person today have gotten was all destructive criticism.
Yeah.
Criticisms that were meant to pull you down usually become what pulls you up.
Yeah.
The catapult. If you want to shoot the catapult to go forward, how do you shoot the catapult?
Pull it back.
Do you take it forward?
No.
Do you have the stone by going forward?
No.
Of course, you're going to hurt your eye.
What
do you do?
You
pull it back. And the further you pull it, the better it gets.
Yeah.
When that person will tell you, get out, you can't do that. One of my roommates told me sometime in school, he said, Great Sam, in this life, I can never suffer like you. God forbid. I laughed. That statement should make somebody maybe start feeling bad or feeling, no. I was cool. I told myself, after all, who like this life I'm living here? So what he's saying is true. It's a prayer point. Even though he said it in the way he said it, I don't care. But guess what? Before we were done with school, this same person walked up to me and said, man, I respect you, sir. I said, oh, I remember that day. So I've been to radio stations before. I've been ridiculed before. I've been mocked before, and the rest of them. These things were the things that push you. So at some point you say, oh, don't tell people, don't talk about it, don't discuss it. So if you want to dream big and all the dream is just in your head, only, it's not written down, it's not confessed, the motivation is not yet there.
You don't even believe in the dream.
So at some point, so you have a big dream for 2021. What do? Think great. You don't be scared. Sometimes, do you know our capacity of a mind? You can ask people. Just ask somebody. Have you ever made a statement like, God can give you, okay, let's say wealth. God is going to give you, you're going to get $100 million by tomorrow. How do you feel? Do you feel it's possible? Or do you feel it's not possible? Sometimes people feel it's possible because they say, God can do all things now. Leave that in the year. It's not possible. Your mind cannot, some person's mind can't carry that amount. Yeah. That amount is like, come on.
I think why their mind, or why they would not be able to accept such is because they understand that there's little or nothing that they've done that would probably worth that amount.
Beautiful. Yeah. And again, possibly because of the past experience, the past, how much you've had so far. Yeah. Imagine you that have not even had 1 million naira. Somebody's telling you $100 million. Come on. Hey, guy, what are you talking about? So some person's mind can carry it. But so it says, God told Abraham, said, as much as your eyes can see, it's about you now. How much of your mind have you developed? The capacity of your mind to expand, to accommodate. Somebody is thinking about building a house. Some other person is thinking about building an estate. Yeah. Some other person is thinking about owning, building, and giving it out.
Wow.
Do you get it? Somebody is thinking about buying a car. Another person is thinking about dashing cars. It's just your thoughts. And guess what? These thoughts, sometimes it's not just about experience. Experience plays a great role there. But guess what? You can actually develop your mind to dream big. Your capacity. Sometimes you are praying and saying, God, I am believing you for 1 million. There's a voice inside of you that say, you never talk of 500,000. You have not yet, there's no alignment between your words and your thoughts process. It can't work.
It can't.
So when you talk about dreaming big, for that big dream to work, there must be an alignment between your thoughts
and your word.
Yeah. It's not when you say 1 million, your mind is saying, hey,
500.
You will not, in your mind, you not say, oh, but if I see 500,000 in this prayer, I thank God. Though. You are doubting. And you know what God says, that if you are unstable in your ways, forget about it. You can't get anything. So we're talking about 2021, dreaming big. The capacity to dream big can also be rubbish to some persons because of friends.
Yeah.
True.
Oh, this year, I am going to, this year, God will bless me. I'm going to marry this year. I'm going to build my own house this year. I'm going to get a car this year. The parent will tell you, for this Buhari regime.
Things are hard like this.
For this Buhari regime. Oh, but give yourself brain, no. And then you start like, and that word, initially, sometimes you can even fight it out.
Yeah.
But later when you go back, that seed has been sown. And that's why one of the ways that you can also help your dream is this now. You need to switch your friends. If you have people that are negative, you need to try to adjust them. At least reduce them to the barest minimum that you can. And try to associate with people that are like minds. Now, the truth is, they say, if you have 10 friends who are very, very poor, you'll be the 11th poor person.
Wow.
If you have 10 friends who are very rich, you'll be the 11th rich person.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is, if you have 10 good friends who are very rich, there's no way you can be poor.
Yeah.
But if you have 10 friends who are poor, if you are very rich, they will drag you down. You know the crab mentality. Somehow they will all demand from you and you won't be that rich anymore. They say when an A student start associating with C student, he drops to become a B student.
Yeah.
He drops to become a B student. So you want your dream come true? Watch your association.
Wow.
Watch the information you get, you read. Watch everything. What are you reading? What are you listening to? And what book are you reading? What is that thought in your mind? I was reading the book. The title of the book is Money. Get more, something, make more. And the title is just Money. He said when he saw somebody driving a Ferrari, and drove past, he just looked at the guy and said, "Man, that guy is a drug dealer." He said he doesn't even know the person, but look at him. Much more, 5 years down the line, he changed his thought process and he bought the car.
Wow.
He said, how could you have just condemned? And that's the truth. You can't dream big when somebody is moving with, you see somebody with a very fine car, say, all these small children, you don't know what they are doing.
Yahoo.
You keep condemning people who are doing great. You keep condemning sources.
Yeah.
You keep condemning what you know you like. You can't get it. What you don't appreciate, you can't get.
Wow.
So you must, they are tiny things, but every year you keep seeing yourself circling out the year, nothing seems to be happening because of all these little foxes, So as your friends, your company of your friends, you keep the kind of books you read, the kind of movies you watch, the kind of people you listen to, and all the things you listen to, and things like that. These things all have a way of affecting your thoughts process and your mind. Your mind will gather this information. So when you make a projection of this is what I want, your mind is going to come back to you with all this information and either to support you or to fight you.
Yeah.
Oh, this year, I'm going to marry, and my wedding is going to be in Dubai. Is your mind accepting that? Or is your mind fighting that? No, so those of you listening to me, can we just do a little bit practical right now? Can you, I'm not seeing you, but I may hear you in the spirit. But can you just tell yourself right now, 2021, what do you want? What's the big dream? I did not say dream. What's the big dream? Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. This statement they say, aim for the stars. If you don't get it, you settle for the sun. I don't like it. Because that statement has automatically given you a room, an excuse. That if I don't get this one, you won't get it. That person can never get it. They say, I target 100. I thought you hit 90. You can never, even the 97, if you get it, thank God. Because you've already given yourself a reason not to get 100. So if you're targeting 100, get 100 or more. And that's why, for example, I like some prayer points I get to some churches. They tell you, minimum 1,000 people. Minimum 500,000 naira. Minimum. They say minimum. So that they put a benchmark this way. So from like this up.
Yeah.
Instead of putting the benchmark like this, or from up down. That one is a benchmark you call it.
So it should rather ascend for your dreams than descend.
Rather, it's even better to say, aim for the sun, target the sun, but walk towards the star. I prefer that. Target to hit the sun. And then in the best scenario, hit the star. Than saying, aim for the star. If you don't get it, you come for them. No. For me, that's a statement of mediocrity at some point. You've already settled for the less. If you want to get something, get it done. Set your target. I was in the wedding on the 31st of December, 2020. And I looked at the young man. I said, that's good. You decided that you will never enter 2021 as a bachelor. That's a good decision. So you can take your own decision right now and say, you say, I'm not fine enough. I'm not good enough. Come on. That's why you need a mind overhauling. And I'll use the opportunity to tell you right now, those of you listening to us, our office is going to be resuming up on Wednesday. It's going to be resuming up on Wednesday. So if you have issues, you are going through some career crises, personal issues and challenges, and you need counseling in any aspect of your life, you can quickly just book a session with us. And it's free. It's free. Every Wednesday is free. So if you are listening to me right now, and you can just drop your name to this number, he's going to give you, Mr. Believe is going to give you the time schedule for you on Wednesday. And we can only take maximum about 8 persons or thereabout for a day, or 10 for effectiveness. So the number, you can just send your name and the area you want a counseling on, relationship or your career or your business or something. You're confused or you're depressed. Just let us know about that. 0812 203 5387. 0812 203 5387. Send him a message with your name and a brief description of the challenge, and then he will get back to you on that. Our office is at number 9 Omasurichim Plaza, Stadium Road. And right now, we're going to be opening up the phone line so that we can take up your conversation. We would like you to tell us your big dream. That's what we want. Tell us your big dream and the fears you have, possibly. But share with us your big dream. Remember, you can join me right now on Twitter, The Great Sam LC, or join us on the Facebook group. Our Facebook community group is I Build Life Club. Letter I Build Life Club. That's the Facebook group. I Build Life Club. Join us now. Join me on the Twitter, The Great Sam LC. Let's open up the phone lines now.
All right, then the numbers you can call into to be part of this conversation: 0817 0000951 or 081095100951. Text messages, WhatsApp messages to the number 0701-9339-962. Share with us your big dreams and whatever fears that seem to be causing a little bit of limitation, whether in your mind or in realization of these dreams. And the Great Sam, and of course, Believe, they're here to see how they can help you push beyond that boundary of fear that you have within with regards to your dreams. The great Sam, before we start taking calls, right? As soon as they come out, we're taking those anyway. Let's also talk about the fact that you'd made mention of surrounding yourselves with people that that support what you dream about. And then earlier on, you had said something about not always feeling like anybody who talks down on you should discourage you. I mean, apparently, they're supposed to help accelerate you into getting what you want. So that means that as much as you're surrounding yourself with people who would push you positively, do you also need somebody who would stay there in your life as a challenging factor?
Somebody's going to stay there as a challenging factor.
Apparently telling you can't do it, so that just to boost you, like you said earlier. I mean, there's always somebody who gives you a negative remark that instead of breaks you should, build you even more and give you that challenge to push forward. So how do you manage? What if you have all positive friends? There's nobody to challenge you then.
That's what I was trying to say earlier. I said something earlier that speaking about or confessing your dream is so important. You don't hide it. You don't hide it. But yes, of course, with wisdom, you don't just talk anyhow to people. But while you were making that conversation or you're talking, they're going to definitely, this way everybody's going to be on your side. All your friends. Some persons would doubt you. Your family would doubt you. The rest of them. I remember telling my dad some time ago that I'm going to speak, Daddy, I'm going to speak, and professors will take notes. I told my dad that I'm going to speak and professors will take notes. My dad told me then, I was not yet in the university. He told me, young man, go and sleep. You just keep talking things anyhow. Just go and sleep. Go to school first, And then while I was actually, I think I was done with the university at that point. And then I just was having a program. And in that program, the vice chancellor of the university was going to be present. And not just him that was going to be present. He also would, and other professors would be present. And I was now speaking. And of course, notes were being taken. And then I turned. When I was going for the meeting, I called my dad. I said, Dad, hello. I told you some time ago that I was going to speak and professors would take notes. It's going to happen this morning. And he was like, oh, thank God. That's my son. Of course, you know how fathers do that. So, and then when I was speaking, I paused at some point and I told all the people present, as some of them were professors in medicine, I said, I want to appreciate every one of you for making a dream come true. I said this day will come when I was much younger, and it has happened. Thank you for being part of it. That's the dream. You have to speak. And sometimes you'll be doubted. These doubts are the things that will spare, that will push you. Just stop talking about. I've gone to some radio stations and I was walked out. You understand that? I've gone to some places and I asked them, please, can I have an opportunity to talk? I got something to speak. And you look at me, I'm like, at the receptionist desk, the receptionist just look at you and just like, and continue the discussion as though nobody was talking. And some of these times I need to trek a whole lot of distance to finally get to this place. I've been to some places that I went to some banks that I want to train them. I want to do this. I want to do that. Just look at you and be like, oh, look at this one. You don't give up on that. So the negative vibes you're going to get, my goodness, they are the blessings you need.
All right. We're having a couple text messages here.
Interesting.
This particular one, hold on. Let me try to open it.
Okay. It's going to be amazing. While she's trying to open it quickly. Okay, is it ready now?
All right. It says, good evening. My name is Sandra. After making a resolution for this year, how do you stay committed to it till the end of the year?
Good. Now, that's why you should join us continuously throughout this month in this program, 7 p.m. Be part of it because we're going to be talking about systematic steps on how you can actually develop it. But one of the things I'm going to tell is this. Sometimes people make plans for the year in a very ambiguous way. 12 months is, sorry to say this now, but it's long. And 12 months, a 12-month plan can easily be forgotten.
Yeah.
That's why towards July, June, people are forgetting what they've written. They've forgotten what they've written. Everybody has entered hustling. Anything will come at more, do and go. Believing God for breakthrough. Then when we enter November, we're not believing God for the 11th hour miracle. And stuff like that. Let me tell you something. One of the ways is, you see the pressure you have about the year now. Can you break that pressure for quarters? First 3 months. Target first 3 months. Target the next
But you know,
3 months.
the thing is, I don't think it is a personal decision for anyone to loosen up on whatever pressure that they want to mount upon getting things done or achieving things for the year. I think the problem is with the disappointments for the first phase. You know, you come into the year all pumped up about what you want and how you want to do it, and in the end of the day, it's not looking up the way you had envisioned in your mind, and it starts to fizzle away all of that energy little by little. So I think that's where the whole energy drops for whatever resolutions.
Yes, and that's the reason why when you associate yourself with company of like minds, for example, that's why you also need to get a mentor.
Yeah, I wanted to
and
say
the person
that
is going to push you.
Partner.
You know, someone that's going to push you, say, hey, you can do better than this. I have a mentor, and he has pushed me last year seriously. Pushed me seriously, challenged me to do something. So you get someone that is a mentor, and also surround yourself with people of like minds that either they may not be doing what you're doing, exactly what you're doing, but they have this drive. Yeah. So when one of them is hitting success, it pushes you. I must get it done. Okay, we got a call. All right, I'll call.
95.1 FM. Please turn down the volume of your radio.
I've done so.
What's your name? You're welcome.
I'm Patrick calling from Patrick.
Oh, Patrick, is this your first time of calling in the show?
Yes.
All right, you're welcome. Go ahead. Yes, Happy New Year to you.
Yes, thank you. Same to you. Concerning the set up a goal, just like you said before, and then I think if you just say on the studio there that supposing you bring somebody maybe out of 10 of season one with criticizing you negatively, that will boost you forward. Okay, supposing you're earning a salary of, let's just say 100,000 or 50,000, and you're having a target so far of maybe getting something more than that before the end of the year, how can you meet up? Because already you have a charity salary of 100,000 per month.
You have a salary of 100,000 per month, and you're having a target of what?
A target of maybe 2 million or 3 million for time like this in the next 6 months.
Okay.
What exactly can a person do?
Okay, good. Thank you very much. I will not take this question, answer this question full, because in this course of this program, we're going to be taking, at some of the Saturdays, we're going to be dealing with finance. Another Saturday, we're going to talk about relationship in terms of goals. We're going to break it down into different aspects. Now, for example, he has 100,000 naira salary, and then he was targeting 2 million naira as a saving, right? Yeah. Now, all he needs to ask himself, number one, even if, for example, if he's going to save the entire 200,000, it will take him, or 100,000, it will take him more than a year to hit 2 million. Yeah. So that means it's not a possible thing. You understand that? With that salary.
Yeah.
So all that, what we should be thinking about is, how do I increase my income?
Yeah.
You should talk about, while he's still saving, how do I increase my income? That's another thing you should, at the angle you need him to start looking out for. But unfortunately, I can't tell you right now, you as a person, what you do to increase your own income, because I need to listen to you. I can't sit on here and just tell you everything. I need to have a conversation with you, see everything you do, what you can do, and the rest of them, then we can talk about modalities and plans.
All right. This particular text message also says, I'm thinking of sending at least one of my children abroad for studies. What will I do?
If that's what you want to do, fine. Simple. There are a lot of other programs, but you just got to be very careful. But there are some agencies that help people with that. You know, you just look out for any one of them make inquiries. There are agencies that help you. They have offices in Port Harcourt here, a lot of them. You go to them, talk to them, and see what it takes and the rest of them. And then you work towards it. If you got the cash to do that, fine.
Even if you don't have the cash, scholarship.
Then maybe the child can start trying a lot of scholarship programs and the rest of them. So that's that for that.
All right, do stay tuned. We're going to go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue taking your calls and your messages. Remember, if you want to send in a message and contribute on what we're saying, we are talking about your dreams and, your fears, whatever might be limiting such dreams from coming into realities, what we want you to share so we can help out. If it's a mental issue, we can help out. If it's a strategy issue, we could also help out. Send in your messages to the number 0701 9339 962. Calls to the number 0817 0000951 or 0810 9510. Do not forget, this is the Great Sam Live Class.
What's going on? Hiking prices of goods, high rate in divorce, joblessness, confusion, depression, suicide, anger. But there is a way. Join me, the Great Sam, every Saturday, 7 p.m. on 95.1 Today FM. Let's talk solution on the Great Sam Live Class. Enjoy maximum financial rest today. Learn Forex from the masters, how to plan your trade and trade your plan. Also invest today and get 20% returns on investments monthly. Visit www.cubeconcepts.com for more details. Integrity is our brand.
While I was still 17, with my mama in the sitting room and my dad right here beside me. When we had bossa bossa, everybody in ran big out. You know, the rest is history. I hope you wait as I continue from another place. 100 miles from my home. Yes, it was home, today no home no more. Yeah. Oh, what kind of place, you know, make money that man. Send me your heart, let me go high, let me go wide. Send me your heart, let me go high, let me go wide. Oh,
That was a single debut by a fast-rising PH-based artist. Raleigh released his first single titled 100 Miles yesterday, 1st of January 2020, and today, 2nd, happens to be his birthday. So happy birthday to Raleigh. A very big thank you. The Great Sam Live Class together with Today 95.1 FM.
Happy birthday.
All right. Happy birthday.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we're still talking about dreams, and we're still talking about how to get your dreams, on the right track for this year. Understanding that, with the new year comes a lot of resolutions, a lot of, things you want to change, a lot of things you don't want to do anymore. And, the anticipation of the person that you have in your head. Yeah. And, with this January, this seems to be like a determining point as to whether or not those dreams will come true for a lot of people. Yeah. I think that's why all of that pressure and energy comes in. Mm-hmm. Because anything that happens this month would determine or project what might happen February and the months to come. So if it doesn't move on right this year, as I asked earlier, keeping the energy, where do you get that from? And then you talked about friends as well. Apart from friends, what else can one do? Getting a mentor and in this part of the world, we all expect our mentors would either support us financially, apart from, mentally, all of the information that they might share with us or give to us during the course of learning under them. We also do expect some financial benefits from them. And I would have asked you how to unshackle or help yourself out of a financial dilemma, especially in this point or in the course of pursuing your dreams. But you had mentioned I would have an episode to talk about finances.
Yes, because, I don't want to just rush things. For today or this evening, I just want every one of us to, first of all, understand that you have the capacity to think big.
Yeah.
Think big. What is it you want to achieve in life? What is it you want to achieve this year? And I want to say this now. In your achievement should not be something that is alien to your personality or to your purpose in life. You understand me? It should be something that should be in alignment to your pursuit or purpose in life. And that brings us to the whole question about knowing your purpose. So if you're listening to me right now, you should ask yourself, do you really know who you are? So how many years have you lived so far? And who have you been? And who are you at the moment? These are things you need to ask yourself. Because is it Socrates made a statement, of course, says that man, know thyself. An unexamined life
It's not worth living.
It's not worth living. Thank you. That's it. So if you want to live a better life, you want to see that your life is making a lot of meaning, you have to come to the point that you have to ask yourself, how is my life? I want my life to be better. I need to make certain things good for myself and the rest of them. So you should ask yourself these things. So how is your life at the moment? Okay, so set the dream. This is what I want to achieve. This is the big dream I have in my life. I want to get this done. Like I said, you can actually break these two things. That's why this series we're talking about strategy. We're going to be breaking down these things as we make progress. We're going to be dealing with finances, relationship, and the rest of them.
All right, this text message says, I have a lot to do with my life, but I live with the failure of not achieving these goals. What do I do?
You live with the failure of not achieving these goals.
I think I live with the thoughts of the failure.
Okay. Now, I want you to understand something, my dear. Is the name mentioned there? Okay. I want to understand something. Failing is part of life. We fall to succeed. We fall to stand. A child who's learning how to walk falls several times. But most importantly, the child is going to walk. So if you've made mistakes, of course, I have made mistakes. Well, have you not made mistakes before? So if you failed before, come on. For example, I failed though. I failed though. At least I know that I wrote WAEC 2 times. This was the third one I finally got WAEC. My first WAEC was terrible. The F9 baptism. So if you talk about failure, it is the good thing about failures. When you succeed, it becomes fun. You see the way we just laughed about my F9, but that time, man, it wasn't funny. So I will say to you, my dear, is this: you've got to inspire yourself. And how do you do that? You have to motivate yourself. You have to tell yourself the reason why you want to succeed. No matter the amount of failure, I don't think you failed up to Abraham Lincoln. No, I don't think. He has this attitude of failing forward. You understand that?
Wow.
He feels forward. He doesn't fail and go back. For example, let's give an example. You're contesting to become a local government chairman, and then you fail. You now go and contest for to become a member of to be a governor, and then you now fail. You now go for Senate. You now fail. You now go for presidency. Can you imagine? When you're feeling and the feeling is pushing you.
But finding the motivation to do that.
That's why this show is also there. And that's why I want to tell you to always stay tuned at every 7 p.m. on Today FM. And that's why you keep listening to things like this and other things that you can listen to that will continue to push you. And that's why coaching programs and services are also there. Now, I also want to encourage the young lady. Okay, I want to also encourage the young lady and everybody listening. You can actually... very simple. You can actually book a session with us this Wednesday in our office at Stadium Road. Just book a session. It's free. You come around and be the first set of persons. We're going to cancel. We're going to talk to you and see how we can be of help to you. The number you can actually call in, send a message to book is 0812 203 5387. 0812 203 5387. Do we have calls coming in?
We are trying to fix the phone lines, so keep the messages coming in.
Be that as it may, when we talk about the entire thing about dreams, so those of you listening to me right now, let's take the step now. Step 1, write down your dream. What's this dream about? Now, number 2, that dream you have written, categorize it. What aspect is it? Is it under your finance? Is it relationship based? Is it career based? Categorize it. Now, number 3, what's your fear? Face it. Don't be scared. Sometimes we are scared of that negative thought. No, speak it out. What's the fear? What are the reasons why you think you can't get it to achieve?
Maybe because in their family, a lot of people have tried or
Write
told
it
that
down.
line and they didn't actually succeed.
Write down your fears. Write it. See it. These are the things. Don't let it torment you in your head anymore, in your mind. Write it out. It is the power of writing. So much powerful. Have you ever tried writing a book? The book is the idea of the book is like, hey, when I write this book, and all of a sudden start writing, you don't realize that you're already in chapter 2 and everything in your head has finished.
That's finished.
And you're like, hey, and you need to add more. You start beginning to, that's one power of writing. Writing has a way of what? Bringing to that thing that is so ambiguous or too big. It shrinks it. So write it. This is a fear, right? You are having. Now, right, how do I overcome this fear? How do I take out this obstacle? For me, sometimes, what I do? I have an issue. All I just do is this. I go to YouTube. I look out for teachings on that area, books on that area. I start reading up and listening to things on that area. So what happens? It helps me to solve the problem. There's one powerful thing about books and listening to teachings and tapes. As you are listening, somehow you are going to get an inspiration of the solution. It will hit you. It's like a ray of light. It will just come and you just get it. Wow. And you're going to shout like Archimedes did. Eureka. I got it. Wow. I got the solution. This is what I should do. This is what I should have done. And of course, don't forget the fact of praying. Bringing everything to God is very important. Now, the thing is this. God actually wants us to think big. In fact, we are underthinking in the sight of God. Yeah, God wants us to think big. Now, if the phone lines are giving us challenge, just follow me up on Twitter and drop a message on Twitter, and then we're going to read it. The Twitter handle is The Great Sam LC. The Great Sam LC. Or join the Facebook group I Build Life Club, and you can actually drop a message, one of the comments there, one of the posts there, and then we're going to see how we can also get to you. So, when you listen to these messages and the rest of them, it brings light. It brings understanding, illumination to you. And they'll be like, wow. So this is what I've been thinking about. All of a sudden, you've gotten the solution. So you don't stay worried. You don't stay thinking that, no. Like I was saying, that God wants you to think so big. Just imagine the phone you are using. Do you understand that everything around you is a product of big dreams? Think about it. Some years ago, you tell somebody's going to fly. You enter an aeroplane and it runs and it takes off and it's on the air carrying people. Imagine something that will carry something like tractors. An aeroplane will carry it, lift it and move. You begin to wonder, how was this possible? Think about the phone. Let's not go far. Think about the radio. I'm in the studio. And you are somewhere, either using your phone or something. No wire connecting us. And then you are hearing me. You can just do something and you change the dial to another station. Please don't do it. Don't try that one. Just stay tuned. All right. But okay, we have a message.
Yeah, this message says, good evening, presenters. I'm thinking of quitting my job because of the salary. The salary is very small, 25,000 naira. The only fear I have is that there is no other job to start my business. I have children.
I think you should come over and let's talk. I can't give you all the answers here. You should just book a session and let's talk. You just book a session and let's talk. Because number one, if you're about quitting your job, there's something you've got to do. You've got to make preparation. You've got to prepare for certain things so that you don't run into another trouble. Yeah. Someone will call it busy. You don't run into a trouble. So I think you should book a session. Just send your message, your name to this number. Let's hope we still have slots for you. Those of you listening, you have an issue about your career, life, or business, and you need counseling, let's talk about it. You can just send in a message, your name to Believe here, and then we can book you up. 0812 203 5387. That's it.
All right. If you want to call in currently now, because we still have about 8 minutes on the clock, you can call in and then we can hear from you. 0817 0000951 or 0810 9510 951. Text messages to the number 0701 9339 962. Let's see this message now. Okay, this one says, good evening. I think my job is not in line with my dream. How do I navigate? No name.
Your job is not in line with your
my
dream.
Yeah.
And that's why it's called job. Most jobs are not in line with dream, you know. But because if you listen to late Miles Muro, he would tell you there's difference between job and work.
Yeah.
You know, but then, and that's why, like I said, God help me. A lot of cases that we need to talk about, and a lot of matters we need to sort out. But like I say, we can't handle everything on air. But I appreciate the fact that you send that message. Your job is not in line with your work. All you need to do is, first of all, what is it you want to become in life? What's the purpose? Do you even know? Do you have a clue of what is it? What it is?
But what if there are no current opportunities in
There's
that thing you want to do?
There are always opportunities.
There are always opportunities.
No, because we have a lot of people. Honestly, we have a lot of people who are currently doing jobs that they do not love, because if you ask them, some of them will tell you that they haven't seen anything that would link them up with all they've anticipated to be. So maybe it's not. Maybe the problem here is maybe lack of motivation or even lack of opportunities. We can't rule that out.
Now, let me also tell you something, my dear. The fact is this: many persons, you see, is what they call survival and fulfillment. They are two different things. Survival and fulfillment, they are not that. Survival makes you think like an animal. That's an animal instinct. You just think about is, hey, I need to eat,
I need to
food,
survive.
shelter, and the rest of them. But fulfillment means I want to live a fulfilled life at any cost.
At any cost.
There's a price to pay.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. And this year, as we are beginning the year like this, a lot of persons will come up, maybe probably the job they were doing last year, were not good enough, and you have people that will, I want to change job, I want something better and all that. But just like the great Sam said, you can't just wake up and want to quit a job when you don't have another thing doing.
All right. This person says, good evening, everyone, and a happy new year to you all. As a 21-year-old guy, one of my targets this year is to enter school on my own, because waiting to be trained by my family has actually delayed me to stay till now. But I'm not working, and the issue is the financial part of it. How do I go about it? Thanks.
Okay, how do you go about it? First and foremost, what do you do? What can you do? Start to look out for something you can do so that you can start actually raising funds. And secondly, there are also programs you can run online that are actually free. There are some university programs that you can run online that are free. And you can start up with that. So there is always opportunity, like I said. So
Scholarships and all.
Yes. Yeah. So there are things to look out for. So you don't. There's no excuse for failing. The only perfect excuse is death. Wow. And as long as you are alive, there's no excuse for that. So all I'm saying to everybody, do you have another message to come in?
This person says, please call your contact number again.
All right. Simple. If you're booking us you want to come for a counseling session, just come around. It's going to be on Wednesday, number 9, Omasrinchin Plaza Stadium Road. From 10 o'clock, we start a counseling program. If one-on-one counseling sessions with me. And it's absolutely... It's free, so you're not going to come in paying anything that Wednesday. Any other day, you got to pay. So Wednesday is free. Now, just send your name and the issue, just a little narration of whatever it is. 0812-203-5387. 0812-203-5387. Send your name, and then Believe is going to contact you, and then we'll give you your own time schedule. Is that okay? So, yes. And then on the Twitter handle, you can actually follow me on Twitter right now. The Great Sam LC. That is DGREATSAMLC. The Great Sam LC. Now, join the group community that we have a program that we have places we chat on Facebook group. The Facebook group community is I Build Life Club. I join together with Build.
Okay.
I Build Life Club. And that's what we do there. And also, I want to appreciate some persons who joined me on Twitter. We actually did some giveaways on Twitter. And the winners, they've gotten their gift anyway. We have somebody, Akbo Yibo and Goddess Debbie. Congratulations for being part of this show. And they have won something. So if you follow us on Twitter, sometimes we do a lot of giveaways on the Twitter platform and also on the Facebook group. Be a part of it. The Great Sam LT. Yes, we got a message.
All right. This person says, greetings to the house. I'm enjoying the discussion as usual. In my area of specialization, we don't look for jobs because we're very few. I'm talking about sign language.
Very good. Sign language. Very few. And that's an opportunity for somebody. Somebody's listening to it. I don't believe in chances. For you to actually, thank you for sharing that. Somebody's listening to us now. I think you should go think about learning that. Because sign language is something very, very efficient, very powerful. You always get something to do. There's job for them. So to round off things quickly for every one of you that will be joining us, that have been with us here, thank you so much for being part of this show. Remember, we're talking about a special series, and the series we're dealing with is what? A strategic planning. Strategic planning. Because if you're talking about strategy, you're talking about task and time. Yes, we can call. Take it.
All right, we'll take this one call and then we'll call it a creed on the show today because we have just 2 minutes. 95.1 FM. Good evening.
Hello, Pastor. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Thank you. Pastor, I want to know why Christians don't partake in politics. What is wrong for Christians? Most of our politicians today, we don't have...
you know we're not talking about Christians and politicians anyway. But thank you for your contribution there. We're just going to quickly give the final contacts, and then anybody who's listening can contact you directly.
Okay. Now, if you are broken, you have an issue in your life and challenges you're going through, depression, and the rest of them, your career, you're confused or you're depressed, whatever it is, simply just book a session with us on Wednesday. On Wednesdays are the days we do our free counseling at number 9 on Masrichim Plaza, Stadium Road. Now, all you need to do is to send your name and just give us a little detail about what you want or what the issue is. And the number you're going to send your name and a little detail is 0812-203-5387. And Mr. Believe is going to get in touch with you to give you the time. The time is going to range between 10 o'clock to 4. So he's going to give you the time that is best suitable for you. The number again for the last time is 0812-203-5387. If you have more and we have a spiel, sorry, we may have to push you for next week.
Yeah.
Any other day, if you want to come, we are still open, but it's going to go with some fee. Now, you can also follow me up on Twitter. And the Twitter handle, my Twitter handle is The Great Sam LC. The Great Sam LC. That's my Twitter handle because I tweet every day. And you can also follow things that will inspire you. And then you can also join us on the group I Build Life Club.
All right. So quickly, the show is sponsored by Q Concept, a forex trading and training outfit designed to educate and endow members with all information needed to launch a sustainable and profitable career in forex market. If you want to locate them, number 245 Aba Road, African Alliance Insurance PLC building opposite First Bank before the new artillery flyover, Port Harcourt, Rivers State. So once again, thank you for joining the show. This was amazing. Hopefully, come Saturday next week.
Yes, next week is going to be very real,
very
interesting. Direct.
All right, just stay tuned as Burden Bearer comes up next.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives, all fear is gone. Because I know
to say Happy New Year, Happy New Year, may we all have a
Good evening, dear brothers and sisters.
It is I, God's servant, Apostle Innocent Onyogazri Henry, Vision Coordinator of the Burden Bearers Ministries Incorporated, welcoming you to year 2021, specifically on the second day of the month of January 2021. I welcome you, and I say to you by the word of the Lord unto us, that whatsoever is born of God overcometh the world, and this is the victory that has overcome the world, even our faith. This year, 2021, is a year of divine magnification. That simply means a year of divine greatness. And that's what God is about to do. As we settle down to listen to the word of the Lord, my prayer is that God will give you listening ears and understanding hearts. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Let us pray. Father, we want to say thank you for this new year. We are here not by our strength, not by our power, but simply by your goodness and mercies. You made it possible for us to cross over and to step into the glorious year 2021. We appreciate you. As we listen to the first message in this great year, Lord, I ask that you speak to us. Bring great transformation to our lives through the ministry of your word and prayers. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Once again, I welcome you. Our message tonight is titled, Another Chance. Don't miss it. Another chance. Don't miss it. Another chance simply means that someone has had a chance in the past. What is a chance? An opportunity. An opportunity to be blessed. An opportunity to be lifted. An opportunity to become something. But somehow, the person didn't make use of it. And that is why the word another comes in here. At the closing stock of last year, 2020, what did God see in you? What did God see in you? As the year 2020 was closing, how did your book balance? I mean your spiritual book, your personal relationship with God. What did it record? Was it concluded in blue or in red? Here, we've all come into a brand new year, and the Almighty God has opened new accounts. Not just new accounts, but new account books for all of us. You have yours, I have mine. Each person have their names written on these account books. When you look back to your closing stock for year 2020, what fruits did God find on you? When God came looking for fruits in your life, what did he find? Was it only green leaves all over the place? No seed, no fruit at all. And that was too bad. Very, very bad. We recall in God's word in Mark chapter 11 of the tree that had green leaves, that presented itself as fruitful. When Jesus went to it, he found no fruit at all, only but leaves. Jesus cursed it, and it withered for life. I'd like to say to you and myself, God is always looking for fruits in your life and in my life. There are a lot of leaves that cover us. Leaves of church membership, leaves of titles, and so many things we have, leaves of religious shows and things that we manifest even right in the society. But those leaves are not what God is looking for. He's looking for fruits. You and I are God's investments, and He's diligently seeking for profits or gain from that investment He has made in our lives. I'd like you to remember that God is a businessman, and the aim of every business is profits. No one, and when I say no one, I mean you and I, we have no business being in business if there is no profit. The reason why people invest, get into businesses from little to big ones, is because of profit. And if they don't find profit, then they have no business being in business. Let's open to our text in the Gospel according to St. Luke, chapter 13, verse 6 to 9. Luke 13, 6 to 9. He spake also this parable. A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came and sought fruit thereon, and found none. Then said he unto the dresser of his vineyard, Behold, these 3 years I come seeking fruit on this fig tree, and find none. Cut it down. Why cumbereth it the ground? And his servants answering said to the master, Lord, let it alone this year alone. Lord, allow it to still remain this year also, till I dig round about it and put dung or manure. And if it bears fruit, well. And if not, then after that, you can go ahead and cut it. What a great analysis of your life and my life. Sometimes when we go through these scriptures, it's like folk tale, it's like fairy tales. Many of us don't seem to understand the import of what God has said or is saying. Do you know that this year 2021, wherein we have entered, and we are today in the second day of the year, this year might be your last year on earth. It is not a curse. It is a probability and a reality. Many people that have passed on never knew. Majority of those that died in the year 2020 never knew that in the next 20 years they could die. They were still planning big, long-term plans and short-term plans. But death came. So, this year might be your turn. The last year for you to amend your ways might be this year. God might be giving you this year as your last year. Did you notice the discourse that took place between the owner of the vineyard, of the fig tree, and the servants? The master said, look, I've been coming here year after year. For 3 good years I have come. No fruit. Each time I come here, what I see are just green leaves. Nothing to show for the effort. All the labors invested in this place has yielded nothing. And I am sick and tired of answering a fig owner, whereas there is no fruit. Did you notice also that the master threatened to cut it down right away? But thank God for the wise servant who intervened. He pleaded with the master and said, please give me 1 more year to nourish it. Let's allow another period of grace for 12 months. Let's water it. Let's add manure. Let's do everything that should be done. And if at the end of the year, it didn't bring any fruit, Master, you are free to go ahead and cut it down. Beloved, listening to me, this matter is very serious. This year, 2021, might be your last year to bear fruits of righteousness. Or else, you will face the danger of being cut down. Go with me to Isaiah chapter 5. Isaiah chapter 5. I'd like to show you something from verse 1 to 6. Listen attentively. Or if you have your Bible, open to it. Let's go together. Isaiah chapter 5 from verse 1. Now will I sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved, touching his vineyard. My well-beloved had a vineyard in a very fruitful hill, and he fenced it, and gathered out the stones thereof, and planted it with the choicest vine, and built a tower in the midst of it, and also made a wine press therein. And he looked that it should bring forth grapes, and it brought forth wild grapes. He expected that it would bring forth grapes, but the reverse was the case. It brought forth wild grapes. Verse 3, and now, O inhabitants of Jerusalem, and men of Judah, judge, I pray you, between me and my vineyard, what could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, it brought forth wild grapes. And now, go to. I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down, and I will lay it waste. It shall not be pruned, nor digged, but there shall come up briars and thorns. I will also command the locusts, I will also command the clouds, that they rain not upon it. Wow, this is terrible. Can you see how God looks at us? Do you know that you are that vineyard? You are that grape that God planted. Do you know that God expects fruits? But what happens when there is no fruit? We shall know when we come back. For now, let us break for a moment of promo and music.
No more champagne, and the fireworks are through. Here we are, me and you, feeling lost and feeling blue. It's the end of the party, and the morning seems so gray, so unlike yesterday. Now's the time for us to say Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have a vision now and then of a world where every neighbor is a friend. Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have our homes, our will to try. If we don't, we might as well lay down and die. You and
This message is coming to you on this second day of January 2021 on the bills of the Burden Bearers Ministries Incorporated. Our ministry, Burden Bearers, has a vision to be the best deliverance ministry in our generation, preaching deliverance to the captives, restoring faulty foundations of individuals, families, communities, properties, organizations, nations, continents, and the church. Empowering humanity to serve God without fear, in holiness and righteousness, until Jesus Christ sits on the throne to rule over creation as Lord of Lords and King of Kings. Praise the Lord. We are located at number 6 BBM Close, opposite Enaco, Nigeria Limited, a construction company. Our office opens Monday to Fridays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've been on holiday, and to the glory of God, by Tuesday, this Tuesday, we are opening for the year, so you can get in touch with us. The time is 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. God will bless you. In the same vein, our office at Ogoni Junction, Miniwai, Farm Road, Oyibo Local Government Area, River State, will open the same day. And by God's mercy, the office there opens at 10 a.m. and closes at 4 o'clock. So we encourage you to see us in any of the places for your counseling, prayers, and other information you would need from us concerning your spiritual life. God is said to do a new thing in this year as you get closer to the Burden Bearers Ministries. God bless you. Just to inform you that we have commenced our 21 days fasting and prayer program. Is an annual event. An annual event that would interest you to be part of. Please prepare yourself to be part of this great event, and you will never regret it. It runs from 1st of January to 21st. Every day fasting and prayers. The prayer points are contained in our yearbook, the Burden Bearers yearbook. They are there. You can get a copy and then follow us in what we are doing. I like also to inform you that every afternoon, 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, we gather for summary to pray together. Thereafter, you can continue with your fast or you can break. But it is compulsory that daily we gather at the presence of God, except otherwise stated. I want to remind you that by the middle of this month, January 15th, 16th, we have our annual covenant renewal program titled The Covenant of Greatness. Please prepare yourself. More details of this will come your way in subsequent bulletins. God bless you. I'd like you to take our telephone contacts. 0803 33 88 933. That is 0803 33 88 933 and 0803 741 6604. That is 0803 741 6604. Now let's continue with the message. If you are just tuning in, this is God's servant, Apostle Innocent Onyogaziri Henry, Vision Coordinator of the Burden Bearers Ministries, anchoring the message for the Burden Bearers. Our topic tonight is titled, Another Chance, Don't Waste It. Another chance, don't waste it. Before we went on break, we read a great scripture from Prophet Isaiah chapter 5, verse 1 to 6. You could see God ask a question. You could see the frustration of God in that particular scripture. The Bible told us of a man that has a vineyard, planted a fig tree, prepared the vineyard in a very fruitful hill, put fence round about it, removed all the stones, everything that would be a problem to get proper yield was removed. And the man was happy. He actually boasted to friends and associates that he has gone into farming and that they are going to see what he will produce, and everybody looked forward to it. But guess what happened? At the time of harvest, he got to the place and the man almost fainted. Why? Instead of the normal grapes that he planted, that he looked forward to harvesting, what he saw was wild grapes all over. Wild grapes, totally useless, completely useless, good for nothing. The man didn't know when he shouted and called for witnesses to come and judge between him and his vineyard. And then he left us with a question. In verse 4, consider that question very well. The answer you will give will do you good. What did the man ask? He said, what could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? What could have been done? God is asking you and me a question. What more should I have done to you that I did not do in the year 2020? Look at all the mercies of God. Look at the grace of God at work. Look at the favor of God. Look at healing, deliverances, provisions, open doors. Look at the wonderful breakthroughs that God brought your way in your business, in your marriage, and everything. You have blessings of the fruit of the womb. Some of you listening to me even had twins and other things that are beyond what money can afford. You were delivered from armed robbers, from kidnappers, from terrible accidents that would have taken your life. What more? God is saying, what could have I done for you that I did not do? That at the end of the year 2020, what he saw in your life were wild grapes, wild grapes. Think about it. Put yourself in the position of God. If it was you, and if you are God, what would you do? What would you do? The man quickly took a decision. He started analyzing the actions he would take. And what did he say? Number one, I will take away the hedge. In other words, the hedge is the covering. He says, I'm going to take away the covering that I put round about it. And imagine what happens to your life when God takes away the hedge. What will remain? Secondly, God says, I will break down the wall of protection, defense, divine presence. If God indeed takes away that wall, where will you find yourself? And God says again, I will lay it waste. I will make it completely waste. Everything in it. I wouldn't mind all my investments. I will make it waste. And when God decides to make your life waste, what do you think will be the outcome? Answer these questions. Furthermore, God says, it shall not be pruned. I will no longer prune it, because the reason for pruning is to make it fruitful. I will no longer dig around it, because the reason for digging around it is to make sure it receives more manure and more water. No need for that again. All those tender care, all those messes will be over. And God said, I will deliberately allow thorns, thistles, and other dangerous things to come into it. And if that indeed becomes the order of the day in your life, where would you be? And finally, God says, I will command the clouds to hold back the rain there will be no more rain. There will be droughts. There will be barrenness. There will be destruction. My beloved brother and sister listening to me, this matter is very serious. Very, very serious. Thank God we have stepped into a new year, the year 2021. This new year affords you another chance. What did I say? Another chance. It affords you another chance to amend your ways, to bear fruits. And I say to you, listening to me, be wise, be very wise. Don't ever waste this chance. See what the Bible says to you and I in Hosea chapter 10 verse 12. Sow to yourselves in righteousness. Reap in mercy. Break up your fallow ground. For it is time to seek the Lord till he come and rain righteousness upon you. It is time to seek the Lord. Tomorrow might be too late. God says, break up every fallow ground. Everything that needs to be dealt with, deal with it now. Furthermore, the Bible says in Jeremiah chapter 4, from verse 3, for thus saith the Lord to the men and women of Judah and Jerusalem, break up your fallow ground, and sow not among thorns. As you break up your fallow ground, ensure that there are no thorns left in your life, in your relationship with God. Then, verse 4, circumcise yourselves to the Lord, and take away the foreskin of your heart, ye men of Judah and inhabitants of Jerusalem, lest my wrath, my fury come like fire upon you, and burn you, that no man can quench it, because of the evil of your doings. As I round up, may I say to you, as you begin to look at the year 2021, ensure that you are saved. It is not a year to play church. I belong to this church. My pastor, my ministry. No. It is good to have pastor and good to belong in a church. But if that is all, then you of all men most miserable. Ensure that you are saved personally yourself from sin. That you receive Jesus as your Lord and personal Savior. Again, maintain deep personal relationship with God. Move away from superficial Christianity that holds no water. Again, be faithful and committed to God. Be very, very faithful. In those areas where you were faithful last year, make sure you are faithful this year. And make sure you are committed. Committed in everything. Committed in service to God. Give God service. Give him your time. Give him your money. Give him your talent. Give God everything this year. Please, read and study God's word from cover to cover. Make it a point of duty that this year you will cover the entire Bible, no looking back. Finally, love the brethren. Show love to somebody this year. Take up somebody as a project. Somebody that you must love, that you must reach out to. God wants you to do that. And as you do that, my God will surely bless you in the name of Jesus. Remember, Burden Bearers Ministries has started her 21 days fasting and prayers. You can join us even from tomorrow. And God is set to do great things. Come and join us in our headquarters and satellite fellowships at 12 o'clock each day. Prayer is going on, and greater things will happen. Take again our telephone contacts: 0803 33 88 933. That is 0803 33 88 933 and 0803 741 6604. That is 0803 741 6604. Till we come your way next week, it is I, God's servant, Apostle Innocent Onyogaziri Henry. Remain blessed.
Happy New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have a vision now and then.
Do you know what? Open that door now. I go match and down. Oh yeah, give me that thing. Come on, give me the phone. Give me that thing. Oh yeah, shoot that police. They go over.
Insecurity has become a common factor in our general language within the Nigerian space, no doubt. Not only has it become a threat, it has begun taking diverse dimension we cannot ignore. A solution we seek. A desire to stop the trend is imminent.
Wait up. 2 seconds.
God, hey, Jesus. Straight bullet, though. What kind of country is this? A boy I just said to go and buy something. What kind of thing is straight bullet from where? I'm finished, though.
Directly or indirectly, we all have lost people, friends, family, or acquaintances as a result of insecurity. But is security only the job of the government? No, security is not one man's job alone. Every individual in the society has a role to play in order to achieve a secure society. We urge citizens and indigents to adhere and respect the laws of the state, report irregular activities to the authorities, and we implore security agencies to carry out their duties as stipulated by the Constitution and not infringe on the rights of citizens. If we work together, we can build the Nigeria of our dreams. This message is brought to you by Today95.1 FM.
Every day on Today 95.1 FM, there's always an opportunity to comment and air your views on our various programs. It's not just about us, it's about you, your opinion, and your voice.
President, don't you think that it's time to step down, sir?
Be part of the story, the gist, reactions, intrigues, and the news.
President Neil Patrick Harris has called for greater regulation.
Give us a feedback or join the conversation on Twitter at TodayFM951. Our Facebook address is Today95.1 FM, or join us on the number 0701 933 9962. That's our WhatsApp application. Be informed, be educated, and have fun. We are Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
95.1 FM, voice of the people.
And we're back. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
Hardball.
See, you know one good thing. There are over 150 million people in Nigeria, and that makes 150 million and more arguments. Some agreeing and others opposing on Hardball. Every Saturday,
8:30 and 9:30
p.m. We bring the strongest opposing arguments into our studios, and we take the gloves off. Don't want to miss the debate on Today 95.1 FM, 95.1 FM of the people.
Good evening, listeners, and you are very officially welcome to Hardball this week. Hardball is indeed a program that takes up an issue, dissects it, takes up the silence, and throw away the insolence. But you know the difficulty, what may be silent to you or to one may be insolent to the other. And so we always say that people listen very attentively to whatever is going or being debated in Hardball. It is indeed a mature debate wherein the participants will represent their positions. Very profusely, they will speak in defense of their positions. And that is exactly what is going to happen today. Most recently, because not long ago, Chief Obasanjo, the former president of Nigeria, came out to say that Nigeria has become divided more than ever before. And that sparked up arguments upon argument, conversations here and there, with some agreeing, others disagreeing. Which camp do you belong? Of course, you know yourself. But here in the studio, we have two analysts who are seated in the studio who are ready to fire in defense of their positions, one for, the other against that Chief Obasanjo's position. Notwithstanding whatever the people working for government has said, or even the president of the nation, the fact is that hardball has taken it upon itself to find out at least the pulse of people. And so as they speak, you listen to them. Now, we are going to embark on a short break. After this particular break, we introduce our guests and move on with the program. Join us when we come back.
Hardball.
See, you know one good thing.
There are over 150 million people in Nigeria, and that makes 150 million and more arguments. Some agreeing and others opposing on Hardball every Saturday,
8:30 and 9:30
p.m. We bring the strongest opposing arguments into our studios, and we take the gloves off. Don't want to miss the debate on Today 95.1 FM. 95.1 FM of the people.
Welcome back to Hardball. The theme of Hardball this week is Nigeria more divided now than ever before? The two analysts we have in the studio that are going to slug it out are Lord Asher Frank, who is a monarch, head of the media office of Obaji Teke. Am I right, Asher Frank? Obaji Teke. Ekpeye Cultural Heritage. Publisher and leader of the Bridge Organization Global. Lord Asher Frank, you are warmly welcome to Hardball this week.
It's my delight to be here. I'm always delighted to be here, and I think this Hardball will be very hard indeed. I promise that.
And Lord Asher Frank will be saying no, that Nigeria, well, whether it has never been divided or is divided at the same level for him, he will going to tell us. We are going to learn from him. On the other side, we have Barrister Arochukwu Ogbonna Paul, who incidentally is the National Coordinator, Civil Rights Council. Barrister Arochukwu, you are warmly welcome to Hardball this week.
Thank you, listeners. Thank you very much.
And Barrister Ogbonna will be saying that, yes, every facet of Nigeria is divided more than ever before. Don't stand in the way of anybody. Give them your maximum attention and listen to them. We want to roll off with Lord Asher Frank, who is saying that Nigeria is not more divided now than before. Lord Asher Frank, you have that position that Nigeria, perhaps whether it's the same before or the same throughout for you, and our listeners want to be taught. They are very much keen. They want to listen to you. Could you roll off in educating them?
Thank you very much. I want to be very historical in this discourse today because the Nigerian elite always behaves as if Nigeria starts today. The Nigerian elite is not historically dialectical. And that is why the Nigerian elite is not well positioned in building a nation state, perhaps because they never had an experience of doing one. Nigeria is a very old society. I'm not one of those who celebrate Nigeria as though Nigeria started in 1960. No, it did not. Before 1960, Nigeria already had about 4 constitutions. This same Nigeria. We were here when then Governor Rotimi Bikamechi celebrated 100 years of Port Harcourt. If he has decided to celebrate Ahoda, it would have been about 200 years or even more. And that is the same Nigeria we are talking about. So I don't know how a country will have a Nigerian elite will make a country have 2 bad days, 2 celebrations of virtually everything, and they think they are right. No. The problem of the Nigerian state is not like the Nigerian state has ever been divided. Never. What has happened is that a very lazy elite have always thrown up issues to look as if the people are divided, playing one group against the other, playing one religion against the other, in order to position themselves in positions of leadership with the singular purpose of wanting to loot the state for their private use. The problem, the beginning and the end, is the Nigerian elite. First, if we want to go into the story of what happened after the Union Jack was lowered and the green, white, green flag was hoisted, Nigeria had no division whatsoever. Everything began in Lagos. In that Lagos, Herbert Macaulay was a Yoruba. Nnamdi Azikiwe was Igbo. They were all there. They did everything they did. They took the positions they took. There was no division. When did division come? Division came, what you call division, if at all it existed, was a quest for the elite to dominate power. And they are not doing so by providing ideas of governance to the people. They do so by throwing up sentiments such that in so doing, they will have followership. What are the sentiments? I'm a Christian, the other man is a Muslim. They get a gang. The other man is Igbo, the other man is a Jaw. They get a gang. If Nigeria is divided, we will not live the way we're living in this country. And again, let me add, Nigeria has never had a history of not wanting those who want to leave Nigeria to live. No. Nigeria only have a history of not allowing anybody to live in Nigeria that wants to annex another people to themselves. Southern Cameroon left. Nobody shot a gun. In fact, Bakassi left yesterday. They didn't even say they want to leave. They don't wake up one morning and they have left. They were oil rich. So, what were the divisions? Who were the dividers? Nigerians loved themselves. Nigerians love their country. Nigerians pray that their country should be better than the best country in the world because they love their country. The quest of Nigerians is for their country to be one of the best in the world. That is the quest of Nigerians. They demand so much from a leadership that is inept, from an elite that is not focused, from a so-called civilized class that is kleptomaniac, squandermaniac, and very unfocused and unfit for governance and for leadership. When those elites have lost it and they want to continue to perpetuate themselves in power, they create impressions that look as if Nigerians are killing themselves on the streets. Why they were not? If somebody who is not living in Nigeria listening to the average Nigerian elite, he would think that the streets of Nigeria are deserted. They are not. They are not. We are here. We live freely here. We marry freely here. We boyfriend, girlfriend freely here. Everybody, we build houses in different places here. We trade in different markets here. So what is exactly the definition of the division that Obasanjo is talking about? Is because what unites the Nigerian elite is looting of public treasury, corruption. And when you have a regime that locks the votes, the Nigerian elite goes haywire. And that's what they're doing. What are they looking for? If presidential jet is moving from one place to the other, to be carrying some elders to government house and they're giving them fat contracts and fat envelopes, Nigeria will be very, very united. I disagree with them.
Well, this is a very interesting topic. And as far as I'm concerned, it's a topic that speaks for itself. That Nigeria is divided now than ever is obvious and certain. For the past 6 years or more, Nigerian politics have undergone terrible structural adjustments and changes. There have been an increment now than ever before in the rise of separatist militant movements across the country. Not just separatist militant movements, but separatist militant movements that speak ethnic languages, that speak religious and tribal languages, that want to separate from the country, but more than separate from the country, that is making it difficult for national discourses, national discussions, and the polity to enjoy peace and stability. You can see the Boko Haram activities. You can see the activities of herdsmen. You can see the activities of IPOB. These are organizations that share religious and ethno-religious backgrounds, and that are singing different songs from whatever song or from whatever mindset or ideology being conveyed by the central government. And you are seeing that those organizations, religious people and ethnic members of different ethnic groups, seem to join to reinforce them, seem to use them to state their own position and view. So for you to see the division and crisis in the Nigerian politics is to view and look at critically the existence of these organizations. View their activities and see the reactions very Nigerians have over their activities. So you see a situation whereby some Nigerians speak for their ethnic group. Even within some ethnic groups, crises exist within and among themselves. Speaking differently with that, they cannot even come forward to state a peculiar and a particular position. We agree that the ruling class in every epoch and time determine the trend of politics. But of course, the division that exists within the ruling class, their idiosyncrasies and tendencies will view national politics and opinion from those various dimensions. And it is that is making it difficult to now have a focused national ideological viewpoint. And therefore, the attitude of the ruling class is and reinforces the crisis. And that crisis cascades ordinary Nigerians, making them difficult to speak in a unified tone. For instance, contribute to resettle herdsmen, to do ranching, to prevent violence, to see what. Now, some sections of the country are not even looking, say, for your religious coloration, for your ethnic background. Economy of one region ought to reinforce the economy. How can a country be more divided than that? And these are opinion of the ruling class, speaking different tone, and their ethnic groups trying to justify or trying to align behind them of what politics is. And that conflict is what cascades down to bring the divided tendency, separate divergence of opinion, not just divergence of opinion, but violent dispositions, violent inclinations, all targeted to establish a cocoon or a region or a territory that is unique to a particular social formation vis-a-vis others, challenging the very supreme power of the Nigerian state, thereby weakening the Nigerian state. So the divisions among Nigerians are within the domain of politics. And of course, evidence of this division, which gives birth to this recrimination, divergent opinion, can be seen in the blood, that the face of the nation is drenched in blood.
Thank you very much. First, let me state categorically here that I am still the group president of Movement for the Emancipation of Ekpe People and Movement for the Advancement of Odaga People, which is a core affiliate of the Bridge Organization Global, which I'm the leader. In that capacity, I was in Environmental Rights Action / Friends of the Earth. I was in Chikoko Movement. I was in Oil Watch International. I know that when I attended the meeting where I was shocked, a meeting that was supposed to have radical thinkers in the Niger Delta, then in Bomadi, under President Olusegun Obasanjo, I got to that meeting only to discover that the meeting has been hijacked by some persons and was used to deliver what they now call a Niger Delta Republic. Right there on the ground in Bomadi, I told them that my people are from Ahoda are not part of this. If your job people want a Niger Delta Republic, count us out. Because you don't come and ambush me. You don't invite me to a program without discussing with my people and you announce a republic. That was under Obasanjo. I was also in a meeting in Abeokuta where a similar thing happened with the declaration of Oduduwa Republic. And there were newspapers on the meeting grounds with banner headlines. What is IPOB if not an outshoot of MASOB? Ralph Wazirike sent his boys to go and carry my Secretary General in the night in Ahoda. They blindfolded him. I was in Lagos attending the meeting that purportedly Oduduwa Republic was pronounced. They blindfolded him. They told him his friend want to they told him a story of a friend. He entered inside the car, got to the way, he was blindfolded, talking to a destination. They gave him paper to sign in the name of my group representing Ahoda. He signed, only for us to discover this document in Punch newspapers. I rushed back to Ahoda. I went and made the area commander at that time, and I dissociated my people and my group from such a letter, and I told them that my Secretary General did not sign willy-nilly. He did not. He was coerced to doing so. That was MASOB. All this I'm telling you was under President Obasanjo. So, I am very, very pleased. I'm delighted that my colleague have said what he calls division or more division within a Nigerian state is within the domain of politics. That answers all the whole question. You lose an election. You go to your village. You become an ethnic champion. You begin to look at every policy of the government of the day that won a democratic election within the prism of your sentimental petty mindset, and you think that Nigeria is divided because you're doing so, because you can shout in the media, because I come to the media, I can now make inflammatory statements, and you think that the people of Ahoda are with me because it is me who have access to the media. No, it's not. If it is true, when you are making those statements and issuing those communications in those hotels where you used to hold those meetings, you have people who have been evacuated from different parts of the country. They are buying land and building houses and marrying wives and making girlfriends and boyfriends. So they're not listening to you. They are not. Don't even deceive yourself. They're not. Come and present yourself in an election situation in your village if you will pass. A lot of them exist in Abuja. A lot of them exist in Lagos. They don't go home. They don't. So the political representation, that is why I love the word that Femi Adesina used for them. He said they are wailing wailers. These groups you are calling and you are giving them political character. All of them are known PDP card carriers who lost election in 2015 and lost another one yesterday. And we lose another one in 2023 definitely because they're not playing politics, they're busy making noise. And politics is arithmetic. It's not noise. We are all in the communities, living with our people, playing the politics. They are all in Abuja issuing press statements and thinking that Nigeria is divided. Who told them so? We saw the mess they did in the SARS riot. We saw the mess. We thought that these are responsible people that could give a contrary leadership. We thought so. We saw names of people who are always in the media, who were always making statements, and we thought that these are people that could be looked upon tomorrow. We saw it, and we saw how they could not produce leadership in 14 days. They led the country to chaos. We saw it. So it is not noise. It is your capacity. If it is the political body language of election losers that Obasanjo caused division of Nigeria, I am very disappointed because even he himself, with his political experience, ought to know that is not division. Because those people you are talking about, those people are what they consider as their followership is suspect. The man who says he's speaking for the whole Niger Delta, people don't know him. No, they don't know him. And my area is the largest single oil and gas producing zone in the whole country. We don't know Edwin Clark. So how is it speaking for my people?
In Africa, politics is a means of production. And as they say, it's ubiquitous. You cannot discuss this topic without going into the realm of politics. Now, if in a situation whereby I live in a community, we are not evacuating, there is no crisis in that community. But there are many communities in Nigeria that have been sacked by violent movements, and they're evacuating. And those people scatter across the country, and they constitute nuisance. And that in itself is a mark of division. In fact, in some community, apart from movement from one region to the other caused by militant violent movement that makes people to evacuate, and there are even those people being sacked from their villages, from their ancestral homes by militant movements, that itself speaks for itself, and that itself is a language, that itself is an opinion. It shows how frustrations arising out of politics, frustrations arising out of maladministration and political corruption has cascaded down to the grassroots and is causing trouble. Now, in a situation whereby a man says that a group of people made a political presentation and they are not representing my people, and therefore you do not expect me to hold on to it, that is itself a mark of division because you have disagreed with the person. And we are talking of issues that have to do with ethnic formations here. And a man who represents an ethnic group, for instance, and who holds a position within that ethnic association, and who holds a position different from the one another held, it's a mark of division, because what you are trying to say is that you can, and what the position you held will be taken to be the position of that group you are representing. Because one, you are a political force there, you occupy a political position there, and now you have disagreed with another man who held a similar position from another group. There is already a difference. There is no way, again, we'll assess. We can't go interviewing the high power, the common people across the streets. Your disagreements there represents your opinion there. You are talking in favor of your people, and therefore there is already a disagreement, and such is common across the federation. Today you see it's Arewa, and the country in Arewa. Northern youths give quick notice to the Igbos. Igbos do counter quick notice to Northern youths. These are Nigerians expressing, and these quick notices and such things are life issues, because often they are accompanied with palpable tension, fear, and conflicts. So this cannot be negated. Now, if you come and say that For instance, Arochukwu lost an election and therefore starts making trouble all over the place. And possibly when I'm making trouble over the place, my supporters join me to make the trouble. Some other person who won the election will not allow himself and his supporters to be overwhelmed by my supporters, knowing fully well we have lost the election. And therefore, they will definitely join issues with us. Communicate and counter-communicate. Conference meeting and counter-conference meetings. How again do you want to see dissatisfaction and frustration within the system? Because if there were no such disagreement, these political reactions and opinions is there. And again, historically in Nigeria, at any point in time in Nigeria has never, political divisions has been so much. Only that in recent times, we can say that it has been reinforced. For instance, look at what happened in the House of Representatives during the motion for self-government. They not, in fact, at the height of Inauro's motion, they not had to walk out, and they were booed by Lagos crowd. And they vowed never to return to the North. Look at the crisis that followed the census prior to the second report, the crisis that followed the census in 1964. Look at the crisis that erupted that eventually metamorphosed into a civil war when everybody thought that Nigeria would not make it any longer. Now look at the election of the Second Republic and the crisis attendant upon it. Look at the emergent issues as soon as the democratic dispensation came in 1999, where there were ethnic wars and violence, killings and disruption. War between the Hausa people and a community in Lagos. War, the massacre and killing of Igbo businessmen and traders in Kaduna, and the attendant reactions that come from. Look at the Niger Delta crisis and the activities of militancy, and the various opinion being exchanged across the board. The pressure the political leaders have been put through, and their own body language and kind of politics and how it has created crisis. What we are just saying is that in recent times, these things seem to have cascaded, it seems to have increased, it seems to have intensified at a level that even the government cries out that it's under pressure. At a level that even the security agencies can no longer condone. Okay, look at the recent NSAS movement, wherein some people are talking about police brutality, which is a fact that speaks to all of us. And some other people are saying that the intent or the attitude of this thing is to collapse the government of the federation because a man from a particular part of the country is the president. But the question is there brutality? If there is brutality, has it taken tolls on Nigerians? Do they have the right of protest? Whatever subsequently happened on the process is unfortunate and is condemnable. But you see, there is a diversion of opinion. That instead one person will see that these men are brutal, they are violent, this policing is primitive and a cake. He is rather interpreting it politically. In other words, there was a total disconnect in an attempt to build a general worldview on this issue, trying to tackle a problem that is well established. Right, it was giving political coloration, and people from the northern part of the country started speaking differently. People from the east and the south started speaking differently. Doesn't that express the extent of frustration and division in the country?
Well, it is time we go on a short break, and after this particular break, Lord Usher Frank will continue in espousing his position to the august listenership that indeed there is no division in Nigeria more than before. Join us when we come back.
Hardball.
See, you know one good thing.
There are over 150 million people in Nigeria, and that makes 150 million and more arguments. Some agreeing and others opposing on Hardball. Every Saturday,
8:30 and 9:30
p.m. We bring the strongest opposing arguments into our studios, and we take the gloves off. Don't want to miss the debate on Today 95.1 FM, 95.1 FM of the people.
Welcome back to Hardball. The theme is Nigeria more divided now than before? And one person who says no to that particular conversation is Lord Usher Frank. However, Lord Usher Frank, you've been saying very well that no division at all. In your own view, Nigeria has been the way it's been, but perhaps a lazy elite, according to using the exact word you used, has been orchestrating one problem after they lost elections and all that. But Barrister Arochukwu has been giving you what could be termed an uppercut, telling you that indeed, whether it's those who lost election or whatever, but there have been strange eruptions of political movements and all that. All these things, because of lack of unity and cohesion, have been occurring in the society of Nigeria. Perhaps you are warming up to say, let us wrap up this debate that Barrister Arochukwu has won. Is that what you are thinking? Tell us if you are talking about differently.
Thank you very much. You see, first, one of the cornerstones of this administration was to fight corruption. And what unites Nigeria, if I will use that word for the want of a better language, what unites Nigeria is corruption of the elite. The moment the elite can share Nigerian resources across political divides, there is peace and unity. So, the very concept of fighting corruption was what made so many people never gave a General Buhari a chance to win a democratic election in Nigeria. They never gave him a chance. Because they said, this thing you are preaching, it will not work here. And he consistently stood on that purpose. And when you say you are fighting corruption, what exactly is the cornerstone of fighting corruption? It's rule of law. You have to respect the rule of law and due process. That is the fundamental of fighting corruption. Not necessarily recovering money. It's to ensuring that the source upon which money can be siphoned in the first instance does not exist. Within the concept of the rule of maintenance of the rule of law and due process is constitutionality. What you call ethnic cleavages and their so-called champions is unconstitutional. There's nowhere in the Nigerian constitution that ethnic group is recognized. What is recognized in the constitution is constituencies. Elections are based on constituencies. Secondly, this we are not South, which is an abuse of English language brought by Abacha, which level of education is suspect. Doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There's nothing like North, South, East, whatever. It doesn't exist. So the so-called geopolitical zones, which the elites are using ethnicity and geopolitical zone instead of constituencies as basis of pursuing whatever they need from government within the context of quota system and federal character. It's not correct. So if you are fighting corruption, you put your feet down and ensure that those things that are not constitutional are not given the character that certain elites who think that those are the areas upon which they can survive uses. Then, let me state clearly here that it is within the norms of democratic practice for every individual to exercise the right to hold a thought. The fact that my thinking and your thinking is not the same does not tantamount to division in a democratic dispensation. The fact that you have a contrary view to me does not necessarily mean there's a cleavage in state. In fact, it is agreeable constitutionally that every person is entitled to his opinion, but the majority opinion must prevail, especially in a voting system and in parliament. So, that you don't agree with me in this studio does not mean, are you not still my friend? Yeah, my friend, now we can still drink together, go everywhere together. But you have a different opinion. I have a different opinion. It is within the norms of democratic practice to be. Those are not divisions. And again, there's something that baffles me. The Nigerian elite is always very quick to mention the doctor histories to suit their circumstances. When they talk of who walks out here, who walks out there, of course. Today, the North that walked out from agreeing to an Enahoro declaration, are they more united today than you, the South, who is very sharp in wanting the independence at that time? Somebody has his own thinking, and he feels that I am more organized the way I am. I can live with this system a little more longer. You say you want to go, no. You, okay, finally it was agreed. You now agree to go. You and the people that said we shouldn't go, no. Are you as formidable as they are? Who is more correct and who is wrong? After so many years down the line. You see, the doctor history to suit their circumstances. And again, let me state clearly again here. That you see, as a stance, let us also be able to mention the high points of our nation building, not only the low points.
Well, we want him back on another short break, and after this particular break, Barrister Arochukwu Ogbonna indeed will profusely be backing his positions to our august listenership. that there is more division in Nigeria now than before, in agreement with Chief Obasanjo's postulation, supported by Wole Soyinka. Join us when we come back.
Hardball.
See, you know one good thing.
There are over 150 million people in Nigeria, and that makes 150 million and more arguments. Some agreeing and others opposing on Hardball. Every Saturday,
8:30 and 9:30
p.m. We bring the strongest opposing arguments into our studios, and we take the gloves off. Don't want to miss the debate on Today 95.1 FM, 95.1 FM, the people.
Welcome back to Hardball. Is Nigeria more divided now than before? That conversation has indeed been ravaging Nigeria, and a lot of people have said yes, others have said no. The question now in our studio, Today 95.1 FM, is which part of it do you support? That Nigeria is more divided than before? And one person who believes in such is Barrister Arochukwu Paul Obona. Barrister Obona, you indeed have been espousing your positions variously that Nigeria is more divided now than before. But to Lord Asha Frank, who has indeed been ravaging you as it were, has said, with points he's been selling you, that no, it is the lazy elite that who frown upon defeat in elections, who, whenever they lose out from what they are supposed to get politically, that will stoke up problems here and there. And it doesn't mean that Nigeria is divided. Do you believe that what he's saying is true? And as a result, your knees that maybe are becoming wobbly. And so you are rousing us up to end the debate in its favor. Tell us.
In Africa, politics is carried on the platform for political agitations. The platform for political aspirations is ethnic organizations, ethno-social formations. And those people massify to counteract their competitors from some other ethno formations. And of course, any interaction politically between such organizations brings conflict. Nigeria is no exception to it. We cannot put up the academic argument trying to exercise the ruling class or the elite from the masses, or trying to say that they create phantom reactions that will give the impression of division. Those phantom reactions, so to say, trickle down to their supporters. For instance, when communities begin to fight communities out of political expressions by the elite, are you now saying that the two political communities are united within the Nigerian state? Now, when Nigerians express violent opinions in hostility and antagonism, in fact, it got to a point that the government started tinkering with the idea of hate speech. Hate speech is opinions expressed, which in itself has violent implications or negative aspirations targeted against the other person, which is capable of triggering off crisis. The government has been managing what is called hate speech. Reactions to the hate speech law or position or policy of the government, nobody has agreed on it. Some people are saying, human rights are saying you want to gag the press, gag social media. The government is saying, look, we want to prove sanity to check what people say, that what people say with their mouth is causing problem for us. These are reactions from ordinary Nigerians out there on the street. So when you restrain and say it's the ruling class that creates, to me it's academic, because whatever the ruling class reacts, whatever reaction the ruling class makes, because every ruling class, you must agree with me, has a foundational root. In fact, the first movement, the first attempt, any ruling class, the so-called ruling class, which is found out in the business class, in the political class, in the religious class, their first constituency is at the local level. And even politically, it is the standard in political structures. You cannot go to be winning election in the state, in the local government, and whatever without having your word. And that is why when some of them succeed in winning election without having a grassroots support, they have a way of coercing the structure to co-opt to their political, either by decamping or whatever, all in an attempt to get seriously involved with to go seriously involved at the grassroots. And such attempts generate crisis and disagreements. So, and again, at a point in an economy where, in a dislocated economy and dysfunctional economy, suffering from dislocation and disarticulation as we have it, politics is the main means of production. And then since practically everybody feeds through politics as an industry, and the resources may never go around at every point in time, there are bound to be negative reactions. And that was why I said earlier, you cannot situate this outside the domain of practical politics and the politics of the country and the Nigerian polity. So the division you can see across the Nigeria, you can see it across ethnic formation, you can see it across religious groups, you can see it even in reaction to government appointments. There have been a lot of negative reactions over appointment by the central government. And you can see that certain regions are particular that we are not being given jobs, and the ones we have are even being taken away from us. And a certain region is trying to justify it and say, look, the jobs are being distributed across federal character. Some other people, and that already generates tension between regions. It generates tension between personalities. So it is clear, I agree that Nigerians may not agree on every single government policy. But what you watch out for is not just that Nigerians disagree, but you check the words used in the disagreement, violent words, hostile, antagonistic. Then you now check the issue of warfare and crisis happening across the country, that the country is sleeping in blood. Now, what happened in Lekki? The reaction that followed, does it show a sign of unity?
Thank you very much. First, let me debunk the idea that politics in Africa is driven by ethnic formations. The classical history of African politics shows that the politics of North Africa was driven by radical, well-organized political movements that had no ethnic character. The transformation of the Southern African states was driven by radical political formations and organizations that had no ethnic character. When Mangosuthu Buthelezi wanted to bring an ethnic character with the Nkata Freedom Party in Southern Africa, he didn't make a success of it. He couldn't. It is only in part of Central Africa and in part of Western Africa where you have ethnic formations trying to have political character. And in those places, those ethnic formations tend to create unnecessary instability within the system. We saw in Central Africa how the promotion of ethnic character in politics led to genocide in Rwanda. We saw how in Nigeria here, the pursuit of ethnic politics led to the assassination of Alfred Rewani, led to the assassination of Ken Saro-Wiwa, led to the brutal killing of Moshood Kashimawo Abiola, led to the death of General Musa Yaradua, to General Shehu Yaradua. We saw how the introduction of ethnic politics in Nigeria led Obafemi Awolowo into prison for no offense of any kind. The introduction of ethnic politics in Nigeria led Nigeria into the first coup d'etat and eventually snowballed into a Nigerian war. There has been nowhere when ethnic character was introduced in former Yugoslavia, the country went into bunkers. Anywhere people retire into their tribal cocoons, you always have problems. And it is only elites who fail in business, in politics, in social life that always run into ethnic cocoons. Of course, you cannot go and make that Dangote to go and start playing ethnic politics now. You cannot now because he's doing well in business. You cannot go and tell Femi Otodola. Is he a member of Afenifere? He doesn't have time for that. Look at the people who are in those places. Former government political office holders that think that it is their birthright to be sharing money. So they should not be sitting inside the house and they'll be seeing a lot. And when they're not getting it, they go into their ethnic cocoons because they have no followership. Any politician who goes into his ethnic cocoon has no followership. He's claiming one that he doesn't have. If he has a followership, he will not. I will not retire to my ethnic cocoon now because the bridge organization global is formidable.
You see, we building value systems and expectations is one thing. Then what is real and obtainable in the society is another thing. Now, if a man makes expectations from government as a matter of right, and the man is not getting it, and the man chooses to foment trouble using a particular ethnic formation by telling them they are cheating you people in government, they are not giving you what is due you, they don't want to appoint you, and people rise up in expression of negative threats and words, or even take to the streets, or even begin to disrupt government through a volume of negative opinions or trying to cause physical violence. And some other person who is doing it in Rivers State, some other person is doing it in Sokoto, some other person, because these elements that are jobless and are making expectations on government are scattered across the field of the federation. So if those people rises up and there is divergence of thought, divergence of opinion, often resulting to violence and crisis, does that promote the unity of the country? Does that speak of the unity of the republic? It shows how this unity can be engineered by individuals that have particular interests. And once they engineer it and it comes to limelight, there is crisis. Now, listen, even in North Africa, where you spoke of, or some other places you raised, when these issues are not ethnic or tribal, they are religious. Do your proper investigation. And again, like the man you cited in South Africa, you said the man attempted, but you can say what his attempt cost both him, got himself, and cost his opponents. In fact, in talking about that man, we don't talk about him in light terms because that particular issue became an issue that will have overturned all the successes the ANC has made for those number of years. Those political leaders, agitators were in prison. You see the extent of disruption he caused in the system. You see how the man engineered the system and obviously created violence that was intractable. In fact, the international community had to set in. Now, are you now saying that because the man orchestrated it from the comfort of his palace, engineered it and snowballed it into the street, enabling the other people to come and react in defense of themselves, at that point in time, will you say the country is very, very united? Or will you say because one man created it and threw it out there and people are killing themselves, that it does not amount to violence, it does not amount to disunity? Or in that condition in South Africa, will any progress will have been made towards independence or self-emancipation from white rule? Of course, it's not possible. If you catapult that argument down to the surface of Nigeria, you will agree with me that violence, crisis, are not self-made. They are generated by elements within the system. It's the human interactions in the system that give that when we are assessing a particular social situation, we are merely interpreting human character, human behavior, which is expressed in relationships, social relationships. So that the fact that a certain elements in Nigeria, as he alludes, who are lazy, unproductive, who have failed, possibly past leaders, choose to recreate a system that flows them, and to that they need to trigger off crisis in the system. Will you not come and say that there is no crisis in the system, or rather say that that the country is united? Are we that the country is united under that condition? I do not think so. There is crisis. So you can see that there is a deliberate and conscious effort being made by elements from your own position, from your own point, to create confusion in the system, just for their own self-aggrandizement. And that thing catches fire, and the whole thing is start burning. And that is exactly what the issue here is in Nigeria. People have been fingered for sponsoring violent movement, for sponsoring organizations that have separatist tendencies, people that are that are aspiring for their own self-determination under a new state platform, not Nigeria. So with those individuals funding and sponsoring those people, and those people actually creating problems for us on the streets, creating insecurity, overwhelming our security agencies, and generating reactions. Will you now come and say that the country is united when a man from the north is being driven by the expression or reacts to the expression of the man from the east? Then the man from the Niger Delta raises his own expressions, attacking the same system, and there are reactions. Such cacophony of voices, such reactions generated within the Nigerian political space. Will you now say that under this condition that we are united, The answer is no. The country is disunited.
I don't know what we are discussing really. Are we discussing whether Nigeria is divided, more divided, or what are we discussing? Yes, that's what we're discussing. So, a sovereign state with defense and security architecture will sit down and allow some dubious elite to be sponsoring crisis, and that is division. As far as I'm concerned, the meaning of that is that you are engaged in treason, and there's a punishment for that. That has nothing to do with division, as far as I'm discussing here. That you are an armed robber creating problem in the street, that's division within the state. How does that become a division within the state? That's the job of the security to track it just down. That you are a political whatever you call yourself somewhere, and you are sponsoring treasonable offenses, and they see you. Who are you? That's the job of the security and defense architecture, to put you where you're supposed to belong. Behead you if necessary, if the judiciary makes such a pronouncement. When you constitute yourself into a nuisance within a sovereign state, it's the duty of that sovereign state through its necessary apparatus to put you where you belong. That is not a matter of division. As my understanding of division is that people within a particular confines are not comfortable with each other within that confines. That's my understanding of division. Are people within such confines comfortable with themselves? I don't even expect that politics will come into this discourse. What I was looking at is, are Nigerians living together? And the question is, and the answer is yes. Nigerians are living together. So who are the people creating problem in Nigeria? You're saying it is political elites that are creating problem, if there's any. And what is the problem they are creating? Okay, if you do something you don't get, you go to your ethnic group and you bring them to the street. The police should arrest you and put you somewhere. If the police is not doing that, if I know such people, I'll petition so that the police will put them somewhere. Because you constitute a nuisance for the people. If everything we all needed, we use that process, will any person be living in this country? If you think you can live in that kind of a situation, you go and live in the Herbaceous state of nature. This is a society that is programmed by law. You need something that you can't get, you put people on the street. Who are you? Did your father from a country here that you can come and do that rubbish here? You're a political what? Which background did you come from? That you think if you want to become a minister, you cannot put people on the street. You think everybody can put people on the street? I can put 500,000 at a time and put people on the street to get something to do. That is irresponsible. That is not my definition of division. No, it's not. That is rascality of individuals who should be dealt with according to the law without respect for anybody. So as far as I am concerned, Nigerians are comfortable with themselves. What Nigerians want is a better society. Nigerians demand so much from their elite, and the elite are disappointing them. And that disappointment from the elite, because of fraud and corruption, does not tantamount to a division of the Nigerian people. No. It is because there's an answer to it. There's an answer to it. If the people that are given responsibilities cannot deliver, that is why we needed democracy. In elections, you change them and try other people until you get to a point to get it right. In order not to get to the Herbaceous state of nature, we use democratic process. We argue. We put counter opinion. We go into the streets constructively, not destructively. We go into the ballot boxes constructively, not we discipline ourselves and give people the impression that we can do something differently. And when that happens, society becomes like a snake that changes its skin and gets better. That is my understanding of nation building. That's my understanding of societal growth and development. That to me, that some people that ought to be respected have decided to constitute themselves into rascals because they want to feed on the Nigerian state, does not constitute the division within the Nigerian state. Thank you very much.
Talking about ideals and expectations in a situation where they are far from is not being realistic. To talk about Nigeria without the politics of Nigeria is a sheer waste of time. Everything revolves around politics. Now, the attitude, let me reiterate. What we are discussing is principally within the realm of human relations, interactions. And in human relations, political relations is fundamental and primary, because that is what drives every other relation, be it economic or religious. Because that is where the resource of the state or the entire state system and apparatus is being placed, discussed, dissected, and resources allocated. and the allocation of the resources is the politics. It will be difficult to say that Nigerians are comfortable with themselves. In fact, Nigerians are suspicious of themselves. So suspicious of themselves that you stay in a community for 20 years and somebody still refers to you as a stranger at the primary level. Or some other person will call you a non-indigene. When the same constitution we are talking about have given you certain basic rights and privileges you ought to enjoy as a Nigerian. But in reality, somebody is saying you are a stranger, and by virtue of social relations, by virtue of social formations, by virtue of interactions, mindset, ideology, then you will not get that thing you want or which constitution has given to you. Of course, that gives room for dissatisfaction. So that already debunks the fact to say Nigerians are happy with themselves. And often Nigerians are not, some of these treatments are given to people because the resources is not enough. The resources cannot go around, and people are trying to appropriate what they have for themselves. So the expression, you can only know how divided the country is when issues of national opinion comes. That instead of people looking at issues of national opinion from the point of view of state policy and the welfare of Nigeria, people reason from the point of view of their ethnic groups. They reason from the point of view of their religion. In fact, a suspect is arrested to be tried, and people begin to say it's because it's from this ethnic group, it's because it's not from this ethnic group. And the issue of whether the man committed the offense or not is not being put into focus. That is to tell you the extent of division. So you can notice division in opinion, you notice division in reactions. Whether people who are dissatisfied, whether it is being generated by individuals for their own self-aggrandizement or otherwise, is secondary. What is primary is that what is put out there on the street, which we see, which we experience, which we feel every other day, gives room for worry. That one will begin to say, where is the face of Nigeria? Where is the face of a new Nigeria? Where are we heading to? If this is our interpretation, if this is our understanding of ourselves, and this is the attitude with which we want to build our country. So this fact speaks for itself, and they need not be over. And as I said before, we cannot discuss these issues without going into the domain of policies and looking at individual actors. Those actors and the attitude generate the reactions or behaviors that give rise to opinion and subsequently condition human relations.
Well, this is exactly where it all comes down for hardball this week. Indeed, this is where the curtain falls for it. We thank very profusely our two analysts who have indeed stuck to their positions and have debated and stuck to them till the end. That's what makes a constructive debate, because you believe in an issue, you talk on that issue, no matter the way your opponents will drag you around, but you stick to your guns, and that's exactly what they have displayed here. And for that, we say a big thank you to Lord Asher Frank, who incidentally is a monarch and head of the media office of Obaiteke Ekpeye Cultural Heritage, publisher and leader of the Bridge Organization Global. Lord Asher Frank, thank you very much for making our time to come for hardball this week.
I hope I justified my promise that this hardball will be hard indeed. Thank you very much.
Well, remember the team that Lord Asher Frank and Barrister Arochukwu were discussing on is Nigeria more divided now than before? Even though they didn't talk about one aspect in terms of insurrections and all that, which of course has seemed to be climbing higher than before, because like I have said severally, being the umpire of hardball will not allow me to express my position here. However, they have done justice to it. And for that, again, we are thanking Barrister Arochukwu Obonna Paul, who incidentally is the National Coordinator, Civil Rights Activist, for making out time from his busy schedule to come to do justice to hardball in the studios of Today 95.1 FM. Barrister Arochukwu, thank you very profusely.
Listeners, I'm eternally grateful. I hope to be here anytime to analyze issues as they come. Thank you very much.
I am Emmanuel Ondukwe, the anchor for hardball, saying, well, this evening, listen from 7 o'clock, you certainly will hear this hardball. However, our God's listeners, we can't forget you because without you, we wouldn't be here. We can't also forget Enoch, who has indeed made it a possibility for us to produce this particular hardball. Until next time, that's next week, Saturday, stay safe, stay out of trouble, and join us at Hardball. Bye-bye.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, are you ready? Today, 95.1 FM, the voice of the people.
My lover's got humor. She's the giggle at a funeral. Knows everybody's disapproval. I should have worshipped her sooner. If the heavens ever did speak, she's the last true mouthpiece. Every Sunday's getting more bleak. A fresh poison each week. We were born sick, you heard them say it. My church offers no absolutes. She tells me worship in the bedroom. The only heaven I'll be sent to is when I'm alone with you.
Depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
This is Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt. News.
Good evening. This is the World News on your Premium Talk radio station. Today, 95.1 FM. I am Wealth Wilson. The headlines. Public and private schools in Rivers State government. Public and private schools in Rivers State resume on Monday, 4th of January 2021 for normal academic activities. Leadership of OSPAC in Emoha local government area of Rivers State caution against baseless criticism, questions rationale behind attack on its members in Iba community. Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole destroys new Boko Haram settlement in Borno State, and on the foreign scene, more than 1 million people benefit from Israel vaccinations against coronavirus. Now the details. Rivers State government has announced the resumption of public and private schools on the 4th of January 2021 for normal academic activities. In a statement by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Chidi Adiele, said the resumption date is approved by Governor Nyesom Wike in line with the school calendar published in August 2020. The statement warned that schools are to maintain all COVID-19 protocols, including the wearing of face masks, use of hand sanitizers, and staggered classes of morning and afternoon sessions in order to avoid overcrowding. The ministry wishes all people, students, parents, and guidance the very best of the year. The chairman of the Mosup National Transition Council, Debari Barano Kipa, has warned against large gatherings in the forthcoming Ogoni Day celebration due to the second wave of COVID-19 pandemic. Barano Kipa, who spoke to a correspondent, directed that all celebrations should be done in the community level with strict compliance to COVID-19 protocol. Barana Kipa called on the security agencies to be on the watch at various areas in Buri to avoid the spread of the virus. He thereby called on the people of Ogoni to always remember the reason for the celebration.
To reclaim our dignity, self-pride, and clean environment, which God the Almighty gave to us. However, this year's celebration will take a different dimension after due consultation with Ogoni leadership on the renewed global spread of COVID-19 and the call by the state and federal government to avoid large gatherings has necessitated the directive that this year's celebration should be community-based. We therefore call on the Ogonis to celebrate this year Ogoni Day in their different communities while observing all COVID-19 protocols. The advantage of this is that the celebration will create awareness and reawaken the consciousness of the people at the grassroots.
A frontline labor leader, Deputy National President of the Trade Union Congress, Chika Onuegbu, is dead. Onuegbu, an economist and former TUC chairman in Rivers State, was said to have passed on in the early hours of today after a brief illness. Onuegbu, an indigene of Odoa community in Emoha local government area of Rivers State, has been an active labor leader and public commentator within the state and Nigeria as a whole. The state chairman of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Beatrice Tubo, who confirmed the death, said the NLC has been informed about the incident, which she described as shocking. The General Commander of Onelga Security Peace and Advisory Committee OSPAC, Kingsley Ogumike, has disassociated OSPAC from the crime and criminalities being perpetrated by some individuals who are parading themselves as OSPAC members in communities in Rivers State. Ogumike, who spoke when some students visited his office, also disowned members of OSPAC in Iguruta and some communities in Apo who have refused to report to the headquarters of OSPAC to perform the new means of renewing powers. The OSPAC General Commander, while cautioning those who are yet to report to the headquarters to do the needful, also used the opportunity to commend security agencies, especially the Commission of Police, for the support in fighting crime and criminality in the state.
I want to use this medium to disassociate OSPAC, especially the headquarters, from any person or group of persons in any community that is parading himself in the disguise of OSPAC and is involved in criminal activities. I want to point out categorically that Iguruta and some communities in Akpo have not come to the headquarters to identify with this office as to what we normally do to renew strength. I want to also use this medium to thank and appreciate all the security agencies that have been working hand in hand with us to ensure that there is peace and security of lives and properties in different communities where you find this organization is maintained.
Meanwhile, the leadership of OSPAC in Emoha local government area of Rivers State have come out to react to some of the allegations against the local vigilante group. The general commander of OSPAC in Emoha area, Chief Emeka Wori, expressed displeasure that people now criticize the OSPAC with little mistakes without reflecting back to what the security situation used to be at 2015 before the emergence of OSPAC. Chief Wori, who is the commander of Rundele Odegu Peace and Advisory Committee, ROSPAC, encouraged members of the public to stop seeing OSPAC as devils, but should always investigate reports about OSPAC before putting up baseless criticism. Chief Wori, while heightening the role of the members in restoring peace in Emoha and other parts of the state, said they also have disciplinary measures to any of its members, just as he warned against impersonation of the local vigilante group with the aim of bringing it down.
When there were a problem in Emoha local government, more especially East-West Road, people were crying for help. And OSPA came in to sanitize the whole area. In this East-West Road, you cannot pass. Day, night, every day is robbery, every day is kidnapping. And OSPA came in, come and sanitize the area. People were happy. Right now, if there is any little mistake, or if there is any little problem, people will change it to another story. People will be against OSPA. People will begin to castigate OSPA. Today, I have come to tell people they should remember their past days and past years in Emoha local government. What happened from 2016? Like today in Emoha local government, just like what I have been hearing, they said OSPAC are robbers, OSPAC are kidnappers, OSPAC are rapists. I have never seen any OSPAC who is a rapist and his matter come up and will say, oh, you have done a good thing. It is either we expel you from OSPAC or we dismiss you or suspension.
Reacting to the alleged killing of Prince Ned Chika, popularly called Bishop, the Emoha OSPAC General Commander said there has not been any proof that Bishop, whom he described as notorious cultist, was killed by an OSPAC member, just as he expressed concern that the OSPAC member who was accused of killing the said Bishop was yet to be seen since the incident. Chief Wori, while condemning the burning down of buildings belonging to OSPAC members in Obele on the allegations of killing of Bishop, called on security agencies to investigate the killing.
Even before they say SACS, people will go and commit one offense, they say police, they say soldiers. That is what we are seeing today. Okay, the issue of Iba, the matter happened at Obele. Right now, the thing has affected Iba. Why? And these very people they are talking about that went and formed the international hunters. They just went and bear that name, just hunters, because for them to commit offense or for them to be free. They are all militants. They are all cultists. Now, the issue has happened. They said they killed Bishop. Presently, right now, as we are talking, nobody has seen the dead body. The very man, equally, when they are accusing that he is the one that shot Bishop. Presently, right now, we cannot see naked. Nobody knows whether naked is alive. Nobody actually knows whether Bishop is alive. So I am begging the entire public, and as well begging the Nigerian police to investigate this matter properly. I am begging the DSS. They should investigate this matter properly so that they will know who is at fault before they will begin to talk about OSPAC. People don't even remember their past problem for years. Emoha right now is a blessed land where people can pass 24 hours.
One of the family members of the slain bishop, Ifeanyi Chukwu Njoku, while dismissing reports that their brother died in a cult clash, pleaded with the killers to release the body for proper burial, just as he called on government to intervene in the situation.
We, the family members, are pleading that the so-called persons who killed him and hold his corpse to please release the corpse for us. The families are lying there now. The children, the 4 children he has, nobody is taking care of them any longer. They are crying. The mother, the father is sick, and he is taking care of the children, the mother as the person. So government should intervene. Government should intervene and take appropriate measures. Let justice prevail. This happened at a roundabout, and all eyes witnessed it. It was not in the night, it broad daylight, and nobody wants to say the truth. Some persons are saying it's not class. because there is nothing like hot wash in Iba. Iba is peaceful. They just saw him coming back from meeting and they trapped him and killed him.
The killing of Bishop raised tension within Iba and Obele following the attack of members of OSPAC in both communities after the burning down of buildings belonging to OSPAC members on alleged suspicion of some men on military uniform after members of Hunter Group of Nigeria raised alarm on the killing. In the meantime, Rivers State Police Command has confirmed that the incident that led to the killing of 2 persons earlier this week in Lubara community in Kana local government area of the state was called clash. The spokesman of the command, Namdi Omoni, who is a superintendent of police, in a chat with newsmen in Port Harcourt, said there was a court clash between 2 rival groups leading to the death of a 35-year-old Baria Timothy, who was said to be a notorious gang leader. SP Omoni said investigation revealed that Timothy's gang is responsible for the attacks in Lubara community and its environ. Justice disclosed that no arrest has been made, but that all hands are on deck to arrest members of both groups. He said peace has been restored in the community while the areas have been under close monitoring. The people of Rumowoji community in Port Harcourt City local government area of Rivers State have welcomed the directives by Governor Nyesom Wike for communities in the state to fill in traditional stool vacancy to assist improve on peace and security in their areas. This is because Rumowoji community has installed a new paramount ruler, Eze Emmanuel Lunti Woji, over 30 years without one as the paramount ruler in the community. Some of the indigents of Rumuwoji community, including the community chairman Samuel Weze Nsewi and Emmanuel Wigodo, who spoke to our correspondent, said the installation will save the people from further loss of traditional rights in the state and restore unity and peace, which they claim have been lacking for so long. They called on the newly coronated Eze to ensure peace, unity, and security of lives and properties of the people.
I'm happy that after all these years, we've not gotten this thing. And from the help of our governor, Eze Nyesom Wike, he has advised the community to make peace. And where do we start to make peace? We have to install the Eze of Rumuwoji, which is done today. And we are all happy because we have been losing things for the past years. I'm very happy that Rumuwoji now is back on track to follow the governor's guidelines on how to make peace. Since we lost our last Eze Diochinda, more than 30 years now, we've not gotten somebody in replacement. So we are happy that we are starting a new slate. We have a managed committee with the help of the Yenwele, because if the Eze is not there, the Yenwele is the next person in command. He is the spiritual head. So he has been piloting the community.
The Nyewale Rumuwoji Christian Chuku and the newly coronated paramount ruler Eze Emmanuel Luntiwoji. The Eze Obomo, the second of Rumuwoji, spoke on the tradition of Ikwere people as well as their assurance and expectations on the new development.
Without being told, he knows what to do, but I will advise him again. He will not disappoint the community in any way. I don't want to talk too much. He will make sure that he carried the community along, ascribed to his position. For his position is life. In his seat, when he's seated there, nobody will drag it with him.
I think with what has happened today, God will help me to use my wealth of experience to bring peace, which has eluded this community for a long time. We have been seeking for it, and by His grace today, peace has come to Rumuwoji community. I want to call on everybody within the area, within my community, to also embrace this peace that is coming. Let them embrace it. Let them also work with me.
The Air Task Force of Operation Lafayette Dole has destroyed a new Boko Haram settlement in Borno State. The coordinated Defense Media Operations Defense Headquarters, Major General John Neche, in a statement said the latest feat was achieved on January 1 at Manyawaji of the state. NHA maintained that the airstrikes, which were executed employing a force package of Nigerian Air Force, NAV fighter jets and helicopter gunships, were carried out after a series of aerial surveillance missions revealed that the new settlement was being used to store up weapons and logistics items, as well as plan and stage attacks. He said on sighting the NAF aircraft, the insurgents were seen fleeing the location. Consequently, in a preemptive move, the NAF attack aircraft engaged the new location in successive passes, leading to a destruction of a number of structures and logistics stores, where several insurgents were all neutralized in the process. The chief imam of Kawaran Rafi village in Igbaji local government area, Sheikh that Liman Issa has been killed by bandits during an attack on the village. The Kaduna State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Aruwan, in a statement said the bandits invaded the village and moved straight to the chief imam's residence, and in what appears to be a premeditated attack, shot him dead and left the location without taking any items or hostages. Aruwan said the murder of the cleric has been linked to his vocal stance against the killings and kidnapping of citizens by bandits. In a similar development, bandits also killed the Ardumu Salai of Kajuru local government, who was kidnapped by armed men in October 2020 for his advocacy against killing, kidnapping, and cattle rustling. You are listening to the World News on Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People. After the break, more news, foreign and sports stories. To stay tuned.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
Welcome back. Still in the news, the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, Dr. Issa Pantami, has approved the development and release of an improved national identification number slip and a mobile application to help in securing NIN. This, according to the Communications Ministry, is part of the federal government's policy to improve the process of obtaining NIN and linking it to SIMs, which was sent to the National Identity Management Commission and the Nigerian Communications Commission for implementation. This was made known by the Technical Assistant Information Technology of the Communications Ministry, Femi Adeluyi, who said the mobile application has been sent to the National Identification Management Commission and the Nigerian Communications Commission for implementation. He added that the new improved NIN slip is pocket-friendly and easy to verify. Adeluyi explained that the application provided a secure channel for all Nigerians and legal residents to easily verify and authenticate their identities on the go using smartphones, adding that it also enables them to link the NIN to their phone numbers. He also said that the application offered a built-in harmonization process that allowed it use across other government services, including the NCC, Federal Inland Revenue Service, Federal Road Safety Commission, and National Health Insurance Scheme, amongst others. In the meantime, federal government has listed fresh conditions for telecommunication service subscribers who had lost, stolen, or misplaced and damaged their SIM cards. According to the Nigerian Communications Commission, subscribers must present their national identification numbers for their SIM cards to be replaced. The National Identity Management Commission will also verify the national identification numbers presented by subscribers before mobile network operators replace such SIM cards. According to the statement jointly signed by the Director, Public Affairs NCC, Ikechukwu Adinde, the Head Corporate Communication NIMC, Kayode Adegoke, telcos are also expected to adhere to all SIM card replacement guidelines. The statement said the decision was taken by the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, after he considered the report by a technical committee charged with the operationalization of the process to ensure an expedited link of all SIM registration records with NIN. The committee comprised the NCC, NIMC, the Association of Licensed Telecommunications Operators of Nigeria, and Mobile Network Operators. At least 4,527 persons infected with COVID-19 in Lagos State are currently undergoing home-based treatment in the wake of the second wave of the infections in the country. The State Commissioner of Health, Professor Akina Bayomi, disclosed this in his verified handle, where he also disclosed that there are 140 cases currently under isolation. On the foreign scene, Israel is reported to have given vaccinations against coronavirus to more than 1 million people, the highest rate in the world, as global immunization efforts step up. According to a global tracking website affiliated with Oxford University, Israel has a rate of 11.55 vaccination doses per 100 people, followed by Bahrain at 3.49 and the UK at 1.47. In comparison, France had vaccinated 138 people in total by 30 December, while more than 1.8 million people have now died of the virus around the world. Israel maintained that the comparative figures on vaccination are put together by their World in Data, which is a collaboration between Oxford University and an educational charity. In sports, Mauricio Pochettino has been announced as the new Paris Saint-Germain coach. The club made this known on its website on Saturday. PSG said the former Tottenham manager, Pochettino, signed a contract until June 30, 2020 with an option for an additional year. He replaced Thomas Tuchel, who was sacked by the French club on Christmas Eve, 4 months after steering them to their first Champions League final, where they lost to Bayern Munich in Lisbon. PSG is pleased to announce the appointment of Mauricio Pochettino as their new head coach. According to a statement on the club's website, the Argentine has signed a contract with the club from the French capital until 30 June 2020 with an option for an extra year. The 48-year-old has a history at PSG where, as a centre-back and club captain, he made 95 appearances for the Rouge and Bleu between 2001 and 2003, scoring 6 goals. Now to end the news, here is a summary of the major stories. Rivers State government has announced resumption of public and private schools on Monday, 4 January 2021 for normal academic activities. The leadership of OSPAC in Emoha local government area of Rivers State has cautioned against baseless criticism and questioned the rationale behind the attack of its members in Iba community. The Air Task Force of Operation Lafayette Dole has destroyed one new Boko Haram settlement in Borno State. On the foreign scene, more than 1 million people have benefited from Israel vaccinations against coronavirus, and that was the news as edited by Uchendo Ejowo. For comments and inquiries, please call 081-5341-8657 or 081-4434-3502. Send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. Do not forget, take responsibility, wash your hands frequently with soap under running water, avoid touching your face in high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. Once again, good evening. I am Wealth Wilson. Thank you for listening.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
This president's failed.
It's about the future of this country.
We're going to take it back. We're going to take it back.
You asked us to vote you into that position so you can bring about that
solution.
So when you vote me, then you sleep. Let me see if I can take another phone call. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good morning.
What makes a policeman to be able to feed is the gun he's holding. They use their gun to extort money from people.
Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling from?
No longer news that we are truly the voice of the people.
Am I not a slave in Nigeria?
I refuse if you are. If you say you're
a slave. Let's not get to that now. So the Nigerian constitution.
You spot the difference now?
Nakupenda pia, nakutaka pia, penzi we.